that friend. Right there. These two were bitter rivals. It's been 18 years since they've played. The series is dead even, but, man, what a scenario, and welcome back to the Choctaws to the GSC.
It's time to take a look at a couple of the key players. That's our Watson Quality Ford players. Lamonte Thompson for UNA. He's the main part of that running game.
Well, this league is full of great running backs, and none are better than this young man right here. Not the biggest guy around, but very, very quick. Averaged 7 yards a carry for the Lions last year, over 800 yards rushing, two-time All-GSC player. He'll be one of the best backs in the country.
And, of course, on the other side for Mississippi College, they're looking for some leadership, and they really get it on defense from Jake Weddle.
Well, Jake Weddle was one of the best linebackers in all of Division III last year. And he'll be counted on to be a great leader for this team this year. And he had 125 tackles last year, and he's going to need to have a bunch of them tonight.
Let's go to the keys of the game, brought to you by Watson Quality Ford. Let's break these down in the game, Coach. First for UNA.
Well, UNA has a ton of talent, but their logo ought to be a question mark because they hadn't played. There are no more questions greater on this team than their linebacker core. Lost one of the best ones in all of D2. They've got some talented guys coming back, but haven't played a game.
And, of course, when you talk about the keys to this game, let's talk about the things that are so important for both these clubs.
Well, when you look at Mississippi College, they're an option team. They've got to control the clock and run the football. Only 146 yards rushing last week. You think, well, boy, that's going to be a tough road for them to hoe. But if you went back to last year's NAIA statistics, the University of the Cumberlands, 355 yards rushing, led all of NAIA, and guess who their coach was? John Bland, the coach at Mississippi College. So they know what they're doing.
And our thanks to Watson Quality Ford for our keys to the game. Glad to have you along from Clinton, Mississippi. We kick off the GSC TV season for 2014. UNA and Mississippi College is coming up next. Hale Stadium in Clinton, Mississippi. Glad to have you along on our GSC TV Game of the Week. And, Rick, it looks like that Mississippi College is going to be kicking off, and a dangerous North Alabama team that got all the way to the quarterfinals last year. Of course, now the new coach is Coach John Bland in his first year here at MC, but what a great job. He's a graduate of University of Arkansas, comes from the University of the Cumberlands at NAIA, where he did a fabulous job, Rick.
71 wins there in his time, plus an appearance in the national championship game. He'll have a good program here. Got to watch on this kickoff, Don, is number 1, Filbert Marshall, and he's going to get a shot right here.
And Florida Space Coast sponsors our kickoff, and it is Marshall. He breaks a tackle and then is knocked down hard at the 23-yard line. And that's where UNA will start 1st and 10. I believe it was Kirk Bryant, number 11, that was in there on special teams. And we'll see UNA finally get to go on the field offensively, and they've been chomping at the bit.
Well, and this may be a very important factor in this game. UNA has not played, done very little scrimmage, and in that opening kickoff, MC appeared to have a little more speed of the game than UNA did. We'll see how it develops.
So on the attack, they're led by Luke Wingo, and this guy, Lamonte Thompson, breaks a tackle and looks like he's going to be close to first down yardage on the play. Wingo, of course, the talented junior out of Tuscaloosa, and he's one of those young men now as a junior that has just gotten better, not every year, every semester.
Well, we've watched him play really since he was a pup at UNA, his freshman year, and he's improved dramatically. And I tell you, this is a very talented football team.
And they got a good guy to give it off to, don't they?
I think you can see why he was our player of the game coming into this. Not the biggest guy in the world, but tremendous acceleration off the snap, great vision, and he can really motor.
And Jake Weddle, no surprise, made the first tackle. The first guy there for the Choctaws. Choctaws on the defensive end. Wingo, play fake this time. Flushed out of the pocket. Throws on the run, and it's complete to Dre Hall, number 27. It's only going to be about a 4-yard pickup. Pretty good defense that time for Mississippi College.
Very good initial coverage, the scramble drill, why Wingo was able, you can see the initial read is covered up. He scrambles and is able to throw a strike for a 5-yard gain. Now, UNA is up-tempo. This is something we haven't seen from them before. They're moving and snapping the ball very quickly.
And here's another one. This completion to Devon Carpenter, and he moves the chains again. You had a chance to talk to the OC, good buddy of yours at UNA before the game, and he told us this was going to happen.
Yeah, and Devon Carpenter is a guy to watch not only in this game but for the year. Been very impressive in the preseason camp, a transfer from New Mexico military, and they're counting on him for big things. In
Mississippi College territory, this pass swung out to the left side, and another big gainer for UNA, and that's number 4, and he's the guy we'll watch all night, Lee Mayhall. He has a little bit of a nagging injury tonight,
Yeah, his knee's bothering him a little bit. Now, this is just a little hitch right off of a play fake. Very, very soft coverage. I don't know whether that was a bust in the MC secondary, but really way too soft.
Diamond Simmons gets the carry. He is the other tailback along with Lamonte Thompson, and he takes it down close to the 10-yard line. About the 11's where they're going to spot, and again the hurry-up offense.
And hurry up is the right word. I mean, they are moving at greyhound speed right here, partner.
Motion from the near side. Wingo back to throw, fires across the middle, and it's a completion down to about the 6-yard line. That's Corey Jones, the junior out of Loganville, Georgia, a really talented JUCO. He caught 21 balls last year.
Yeah, and a very well-conceived route that time, a little scat route out of 3-by-1, and when this thing slows down, we'll talk a little bit about that. And you can see they look to the sideline. Now, UNA's offensive coordinator, Cody Gross, is up in the box. If he doesn't like the play, they'll signal another one in from the sideline.
Wide receivers left and right, but yet it's going to come to Simmons to the near side, and there's Weddle. Boy, he is a good linebacker. He stuck right in there and didn't allow Simmons to make the turn.
Well, he's about 220, and you can watch his speed. You can see him closing from left to right there. And, I mean, UNA has great offensive speed, but that time Weddle was able to close on the ball carrier very rapidly, very impressive.
Now it's going to be 3rd down and short. Let's call it 3rd down at about 3 from the near hash. Wingo swings it out to the left. It's caught in an easy touchdown that time. It goes to number 14, and that's Daisian Dukes, the wide receiver, as he was wide open, coach, and Wingo gets his first touchdown pass of 2014.
Now, this is actually a called run. This is going to be the power play, but they notice there's one defender on 2 receivers to the outside. Ball's thrown behind the line. There's no chance of anybody being downfield, and that is a well-executed modern football play, screen and run tied together.
And the Taylor Pontius extra point brought to you by Florida Space Coast is good. And UNA, they've been itching to play. They get the first drive, and they move it all the way down the field. It's 7-zip.
Okay.
They did speed it up.
Yeah, I mean, that was racehorse. Now, that's 3 years in a row.
Space on Florida's Space Coast. Home to Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, 72 miles of Atlantic Ocean beaches, and Florida Tech football. Florida Space Coast, your space for fun.
We are Mississippi's oldest university and the first co-educational university in the country to grant a degree to women. We offer more than 80 undergraduate fields of study and 50 graduate concentrations. Our adult and online programs provide the flexibility to take courses on your schedule. We are your first step towards a brighter future. We are Mississippi College.
Being an athlete, you have to have a really strong mind. Then I realized I got to get to work and I want to be successful someday. So
just become, that person that you want to be because you've worked so hard knowing what to get done when to get up extra shots, when to read a little deeper into your chapter.
I can show my team that I'm here to lead them. Hard work is put into it, all the dreaming about it, and finally becomes reality. It's pretty special.
Yes, it's football season, and nothing beats a great tailgate. Except when you do it at a new Ford from Watson Quality Ford. During Ford's Truck Month, Watson Quality Ford has over 250 F-150s in stock. Save $12,000 off of MSRP on a 2014 F-150, or buy for just $19,900. Buy any new F-150 and get an ultimate tailgate package. Nothing beats a good tailgate, and nobody beats number one, Watson Quality Ford. Where? Wow, Bill's got the deals. Woo-hoo!
7-0, North Alabama takes the initial drive and moves it all the way down the field. And Bobby Wallace, well, he was wondering how the offense would be, winning his coach and GSC history.
3 national championships, Hall of Famer. By the way, partner, that's 3 years in a row UNA scored on their opening drive to start a season.
That's a pretty good way to do it, isn't it?
That's a nice habit to have.
Yes, it is. And the kickoff presented by Florida Space Coast goes through the end zone, and there's another look at the Hall of Famer. Of course, won 3 national championships, went to Temple, didn't have success there at a really difficult program. Now he's back and he's happy.
And you know, Coach Wallace obviously is a great X and O guy, but the best thing about him is he is a great people person.
Isn't he?
He gets guys to play hard, and many times harder than their ability maybe would let them play. But he's got plenty of ability on this team. Jonathan Redd, the returning starter from last year, very impressive, trying to learn the new offense.
Yeah, he struggled last week in their opener. Kyle Smith, we'll probably see him tonight as well, but Redd, a senior out of Mobile, who's really almost rewritten the record book. This is a sweep effort to the near side, carried by Jamie Harris, and I think somebody got his face mask.
Yeah, we're going to have a face mask, but you see the speed of the UNA defense. That was a slot back on a speed sweep run down by a defensive end.
Harris is a senior out of Frisco, Texas, actually a transfer from OBU. You see the officials out of the GSC.
A little bit more about Redd while we're waiting. He threw for 1,900 yards last year, 18 TDs, and he's their leading returning rusher. He had 323 yards last year, so a very talented quarterback in his own right.
On the defense, number 9, that foul is declined. Personal foul, defense, 91, 15 yards, first down.
It was Tyler Smith. Actually, were 2 infractions, offside, and then of course, he would take the greater of the 2 penalties.
Well, this is going to give Mississippi College good field position. You notice that the Choctaws came out in a shotgun type formation, whereas in their pregame warm-up, and for the most part previously, they had been under center in a true double slot, much like you see right here.
So first down via the penalty after the run, and that takes it out to the 40-yard line, and that's exactly what the Choctaws want to do.
Now, what's happening here is the eyes in the sky for Mississippi College, they're counting numbers, and they're trying to find the side that gives them the best numbers to run to.
And, boy, that was not the right number there. The right number there was number 90. Big play by Taylor Carney. Absolutely nowhere for Serrato to go.
Well, the center goes right, and the left guard goes left, and number 90 goes straight upfield for a 5-yard loss.
And back to the 34-yard line on that loss of the play. There's a look at Coach John Bland. He played for Ken Hatfield Matter of fact, took him to 4 straight bowl games at the University of Arkansas, coached at SAU, then went to Rice, and then at the University of Cumberland. Really got the job done.
Has a long and successful option background.
Yes, he does. Might have had, looked like, no flags. Looked like we might have had it offsides and moving in the backfield. That's what Coach Bland is saying. Right now, he said, looked like somebody jumped early. Ends up Jonathan Redd with it, but boy, they must be really quick.
That may be the most well-timed blitz in the history of football right there, because he looked like he was a little quick, but you can see Coach Bland's going right on to the next play.
There's a good look at Jonathan Redd coming off the most successful season, one of the best in MC history.
Now, 3rd and 12 right here. You know, an option team definitely wants to avoid this right here. This is not the forte of option teams. And now we've got a little motion penalty. Like number 1, Adrian Serrato, maybe was a little bit quick coming off.
Talking about the season for Redd last year, had double-figure passing and rushing totals and TDs. Landon Durham was offsides, and now the offensive line's had some injuries. I've got lines going everywhere because now the left guard is the center, the right tackle is now the left tackle. We've got offensive linemen moving everywhere.
They actually had to move some tight ends to the offensive line to get enough depth.
That's, of course, one of the things you deal with. This one in the hands of Serrato. Adrian Serrato, a sophomore out of Lake Worth, Florida. And he gets a lot of it back, but like you said, Coach, you want to avoid those long-distance situations because now you're facing a 4th down and about 8.
Yeah, and if you're an option team, you simply can't be in long yardage situations. That was a very well-designed counter play, little counter motion, the pin and pull sweep back to the motion for nice yardage, but not near enough for the 1st down.
And the punt by Tyler Poe. And again, it goes to Marshall. You got to watch this guy. He is a great return man, but good coverage by Mississippi College as they knock down Marshall after about a 6-yard return. North Alabama scored on its first drive. They'll have the football for the 2nd time when we come back on our GSC.
Then I realized I got to get to work and I want to be successful someday. So
Just become, that person that you want to be because you've worked so hard, knowing what to get done when to get up extra shots, when to read a little deeper into your chapter.
And show my team that I'm here to lead them. Hard work that's put into it, all the dreaming about it, and finally becomes reality is pretty special.
Being an athlete, you have to have a really strong mind.
Then I realized I got to get to work and I want to be successful someday. So
Just become, that person that you want to be because you've worked so hard, knowing what to get done when to get up extra shots, when to read a little deeper into your chapter.
And show my team that I'm here to lead them. Hard work that's put into it, all the dreaming about it, and finally becomes reality is pretty special.
Beautiful night for football here in Clinton, Mississippi. UNA scored on its first drive, now with its second possession after the punt by Mississippi College. And here comes Lamonte Thompson, and he scatters close out to first down yardage. It all depends on the spot of the football. This guy's 5'8", 175, a junior out of Florence. He has had 5 career 100-yard games.
And averages 7 yards every time he touches the ball.
That's pretty good.
He hasn't hurt that average
No,
at
he
all.
hasn't.
Been devastating so far on that speed sweep.
And they call his number again. This is where he's so good. He just spins off potential tacklers, Rick. He was caught about at the line of scrimmage, and then he picked up about 4 yards on those yards after the carry.
You know, I first saw him play when he was at Florence High School, and I mean, he had a big wow factor then, and he's just gotten better and better. That little spin move for the first down right there is not something that, you know, you can just go out and teach.
Moves it out to the 32-yard line, 1st and 10 Lions. Play action, across the middle, almost intercepted. It was intended for number 4, Lee Mayhall, but the closest man to the football was the defender, Darrell Johnson, number 20.
Yeah, what's happened is Mississippi College is playing with a single safety, and he's very, very deep. And UNA has run so much of that speed sweep, they've got that flat defender set in. That little seam route right in behind him was wide open, but that time Wingo just misconnected just a tad.
Trips receivers to the bottom of the screen, one to the top. Wingo on the option to the near side, Lamonte Thompson. He's tripped up as he goes across the 30 to the 35-yard line. Nice play by Dylan Gilbert. Gilbert, a senior out of Laplace, Louisiana. He came up from strong safety to make the play.
That really was. He had a blocker right in his mustache. He was able to fend off the block and trip the thing up for really a relatively short game. Real nice play by Gilbert.
So 3rd down and about 6, maybe close to 7, in between. Thompson goes in motion. Wingo rolls out of the pocket, throws on the run. He's good at this, and this one complete to number 83, Eric Ballou, the junior out of Columbia, Tennessee, transferred from Tennessee Tech. That moves the chains. There's a lot of new receivers we're going to see this year, too.
There really are, and that's really well executed. A little roll, half roll. They call that a bench route, partner. You know why? Because you go down 14 yards and run to your bench.
Yep.
And that time it was wide open and nice completion. Wingo looks very sharp.
Yes, he does. This is a carry by Taj Kimball. He's an interesting story. Why don't you talk about it?
A graduate from Boston College, but still has 2 years of eligibility, and he gives them that big back that they did not have coming back. Has come in and fit very well, and you can see he is not a dancer. He is a north-south, lower your shoulder, and drive and roll the pile.
And, you know, he's a young man that they told him and said, hey, we got 2 good backs. I know you got another couple years, but you're not going to come in here and knock them out. But they said he's a team player, smart kid, all the way. He's going to help them.
And he gives them a dimension that you have to have. He gives them that inside to go
kind of like Coffee was, but bigger.
Yeah. And very experienced back that has really fit in extremely well.
He's going to get the carry again and gets the first down as he carries the ball inside the 35. Good looking back, too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's about 5'11", 211, and you know that's about what they need is an inside runner. And now he's out, and now Thompson is back in. So you know you pound him with the thunder a little bit. Now here comes the lightning.
Yep. 1st and 10 from the 35. Thompson back in there. Look at the young guy fight. He's not tall, but he's really, really strong for a running back his size, Rick, as he falls down inside the 30.
Well, this tempo is just really maddening for the Mississippi College defense. Now, the only factor in here that could slow UNA down is their offensive line is pretty thin, and those big guys up front, well, they may need to get a blow here. I don't know if they can sustain this for the entire half.
Up. Wingo keeps it. I think he wanted to get it to Thompson, but they didn't have good gap there. Either that or he just decided to run from the beginning, but he saw the opening. That's why he's so smart. Look at this.
Well, this is the second part of the play. You know, if the end widens to play the speed sweep, the quarterback keeps it, ducks down inside. You can see the inside out double team block for a nice hole, and Really nice read by Wingo.
And the fake handoff was up to the face mask.
Well, maybe
Does
it was,
it again.
maybe it was that
Oh,
high.
loose football, and Mississippi College recovers.
Now, that's an excellent call by Mississippi College. What they did is they attacked the mesh. You can see that defensive end got upfield hard, hit it right when the ball was trying to be exchanged and forced the turnover.
Watch Greg Jackson get the recovery
Well, this
here.
is another read play, and you can see he attacks the mesh as Wingo pulls the ball. Well, he gets the helmet right on it, and a nice recovery right there by a young man that I don't have.
Alexander Greer, number 33. My mistake earlier, I said it was 12, but nice play by Greer. Boy, he saw it immediately and came up with the big takeaway by the Choctaws. This one to the near side to Serrato, and Serrato, the sophomore, doesn't find a lot of room. You mentioned in the Ford or the Watson Quality Ford pregame shows we talked about North Alabama. They lost 3 of the best linebackers you're ever going to see that totaled close to 400 tackles.
Right, All-Americans, all-conference, but this group they have is as talented as any in the country right here. And and we talked a little bit about some of the guys. We mentioned Xavier Triplett, who of course was an all-conference player at Delta State before transferring. This defense is loaded, and you can see there's a lot of speed. Now you can see also that there's been a change of quarterback for Mississippi College. The young freshman Kyle Smith has come in, who had 58 yards and 10 carries last week against Belhaven, and they're very, very high on him.
He led both the scoring drives in that loss to Belhaven in the opener for Mississippi College. 6'1", 180 freshman out of Petal, Mississippi. 2 out of 6 passing, 6 yards last week. But, again, he was the guy that directed both of the scoring drives, and this is the future of this program.
Well, absolutely. And but here again, if you look at the down and distance change, it's another third down. It's 3rd and 10.
Boy, and he got it away, but again, he was having extreme pressure. That time was number 20, Stephen Rich, the middle linebacker. And, he greeted this freshman with a swat across the face.
Tried to run a little hitch and go, and actually the route was open if he could have put it in the seam between the safety and the corner, but it's extremely hard to throw the football when you're sailing backwards. And
And he comes to the sideline and discusses it with the Mississippi College staff. Here's a low punt by Tyler Poe. They're not going to field this one because it's going to be good field position regardless as it comes to rest at the 45-yard line. Now we have a flag at the end of the play. We'll have to wait and see what happens there, but the flag came in very late.
Yeah, sometimes this is a personal foul.
Yeah.
Somebody said or did something after the play. And we'll let our gentlemen in the striped shirts who know all and will tell all let us know what's
well, it looked like it was on the near side. Here it is.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul on the receiving team, number 2, 15 yards.
Wow, bad penalty that time by Levi Fell. We'll talk about the penalty when we come back because it'll affect the field position. UNA still leads it 7-0. Well, we're trying to figure out what happened on the penalty. They've moved the ball closer to the goal line for UNA, and UNA was whistled for the penalty. Dead ball or not, they've given them 15 more yards.
Well, I think the official changed the call to a penalty against Mississippi
Okay,
College
well, now it makes sense.
after we had gone to break.
Yeah, that makes sense. And in the game now is a young man, Jacob Tucker, in at quarterback, the sophomore out of Linden, Tennessee. Tucker is not your normal backup quarterback. He will play. He's played over the last couple of years, actually competed against Wingo, and what they have now are two pretty good quarterbacks.
Yeah, and they have a third one they like as well.
Yeah.
But, this is their plan that Tucker comes in on the third series of every game, and really they don't miss a beat when he's in here. I mean, this is a very deep football team.
And speaking of deep, Lamonte Thompson again takes it deep inside the 25-yard line and gets another first down. Tucker last year threw 28 of 50 passes, picked off only once, 457 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he rushed for over 400 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, very talented, good all-around athlete too. Was a versatile 3-sport star in high school, and as I said, gives UNA a very good 1-2 punch.
And Thompson gets the carry again, takes it down to about the 18-yard line.
I don't know why, Don, but I don't feel like this game is 7-0. It seems like it should be more.
Well, the one turnover that UNA was moving the ball.
Absolutely.
That would have probably ended up in some type of score, but the more mistakes have been made by UNA,
right,
which
absolutely.
is, as you said, is no surprise in a season opener. Tucker, time to throw. Now he's going to rush out of the pocket, throw toward the end zone, has a man open. Is it caught? Touchdown! Number 81, Corey Jones, who had 3 touchdown catches last season. Boy, that shows you the composure of Jacob Tucker. As he just found the time and found the receiver.
This is a great example of scramble drill. Initial route is covered, scrambles to the left, deepest receiver goes to the flag on that side, and that's what you do when you scramble.
Jared Jenkins was over there on the coverage, but I tell you, Corey Jones is not an easy guy to cover. He's a junior out of Loganville, Georgia.
They have a lot of question marks in the receivers, but very, very talented guys.
Yep. The extra point is good. That makes it 14-0 UNA over Mississippi College. Back to Clinton, Mississippi after these messages.
Being an athlete, you have to have a really strong mind.
Then I realized I gotta get to work and I want to be successful someday. So
Just become, that person that you want to be because you've worked so hard, knowing what to get done when to get up extra shots, when to read a little deeper into your chapter.
And show my team that I'm here to lead them. Hard work that's put into it, all the dreaming about it, and it finally becomes reality. It's pretty special.
Heating and cooling, plumbing, electrical. Scholl's MPE is your one-call solution for installation and maintenance of every major brand. And during September, we're offering HVAC inspections for only $59.99. Plus, we provide free estimates scheduled at your convenience because we know how busy you are. Make running your home or office easier and check out SchollsMPE.com for all our specials. Scholl's MPE, one call does it all.
And Coach John Bland looking on in his first GSC battle, although we might mention that as far as qualifying for championships, that'll be coming up in the 15-16 season.
Right. They have 2 seasons that they have to be probationary members.
Our kickoff presented by Florida Space Coast. Beautiful area of the Sunshine State, and our presenting sponsor. So glad to have you along as our title sponsor this year. Here's a return by Mississippi College. That's number 1, Cerrito. And he gets it across the 20, and then a lot of white shirts over there making the coverage.
You know, this has to be a really frustrating time. Only 170-some yards total offense last week against Belhaven. You know, haven't gotten much done so far in the first quarter through this. And that's always a real tough thing. You can see MC is going back with Kyle Smith, the freshman quarterback, again for another series.
And, Rick, one of the things we wanted to mention, too, is they had 17 scholarships to give this year. Did not get to have a spring practice because at Division III, that's not permitted, correct?
Yeah, if you're looking for a level playing field, it's not here yet.
Right.
You know, there's no question
It will
about
be
that.
one
Oh,
day.
yeah, absolutely. They have tremendous potential here.
Loose football on the run that time. Joseph Satcher lost it. And it goes right back to UNA on the turnover, number 30. Edric Harris, the sophomore out of Cortland, Alabama, made the coverage.
Now this is the first true option play. You see the inside release by the tackle. The fullback is taken. Smith comes off, gets a good pitch outside, but a little bit too far forward. Turnover occurs right there. That's the first true option play that we've seen by Mississippi College. And the pitch is a little bit errant, a little bit too far forward, and the ball's turned over.
You see how happy Harris is over there talking with the defensive coaching staff. It's not the easiest team in the world to open up an option offense against either.
No,
they
not
can
at all.
run. Play action fake. Wingo back in there. This a completion to number 87 that time. That's Hagan Scott. Another one of those wide receivers they have on the list.
Yeah, this is a young freshman that they're extremely high on as well. Right out of high school, comes from a good program in Hoover, Alabama, and has really fit in well. He's a legacy. His father, Scotty, was a great player at UNA back in the 80s.
Motion by Kimball. Wingo is going to keep it. Picks up about 3 or 4 yards on the play. And, of course, if you follow GSC football in the past, you probably know the story about Luke's father, who was a great All-American at Tuscaloosa and University of Alabama, then played for the Packers. So the heritage and the bloodline is there. But Bobby Wallace just couldn't say enough about this young man. He's a sponge to learn the game.
And he's the undisputed leader of this offense. You can see there's a nice little hitch right out there. And those edges have really been soft all night. Nice turnout move right there for the score.
Again, it's Hagan Scott, the young kid we just talked about.
Well, this is a hitch to the outside. The timing is extremely well. Watch Scott lower his shoulder, run right through the tackle for the score.
Yeah, DeAndre Coleman hit him at about the 3, and he couldn't stop him.
One of the things that Coach Wallace talked about is the anticipation that Wingo has in his throws. You saw it right there. That ball was in the air before the receiver ever came out of the break, and then Scott took care of the rest of it.
And the extra point by Taylor Pontius, who does the place kicking and punting is good. And a 21-point first quarter with 1:56 remaining in the stanza as UNA comes out of the gate here against Mississippi College.
Well, I think what we're seeing, I really believe that talent-wise, this is one of the very best teams in all of Division II.
Yes.
A long way to go in the season. They still have to develop chemistry and all those things, but this is a very talented veteran Division II football team against a team that really is just starting out. Not, only 17 scholarships, didn't even have spring practice. But, as Coach Bland said, you got to start somewhere. And this is a rivalry that through one quarter has been kind of an overmatch, but it'll be fun to see this thing develop over the years, and it's exciting. It'll be exciting to see this program grow as the years go, and be fun to watch UNA as they continue on. Heck, I'm acting like the game's over, partner. They may come back and tie this thing up. Who knows?
And once again, of course, UNA, number 5 nationally in the poll. This kickoff presented by Florida Space Coast. So pleased to have them along as our season-long presenting sponsor, and another deep kick into the end zone, and a great job by Taylor Pontius to make sure there's no return on the play. Well, UNA is a team that we talked about, finished really strong. They probably were playing the best football of about anybody in Division II at the end of the season, moved to the quarterfinals of the playoff. And the thing about this team, Rick, as well, you know, Mississippi College is playing a team that doesn't have many seniors, but yet they're experienced.
Well, they are, and that's an unusual combination. The thing that they don't have is who are our leaders. You know, they've got 2. Wingo is the absolute leader of their offense, and Taylor Carney is their defensive leader. But you never know who else is going to have to step up.
And we have penalty markers. Looked at a little jumping early.
And speaking of stepping up, I think a white jersey stepped across that line a little bit early.
Jonathan Redd back in at quarterback. And this is a tough situation for him. You got to know, he, like I said, had a terrific year last year, changed in the system, a little things different. There's the infraction. But, you know, he's a leader. He's a senior. He's going to find a way to get it done. And in the same regard, probably going to be as big a help to Kyle Smith as anybody, too.
Yeah, and Coach Bland was very complimentary of his attitude. You know, it's tough on a senior now. When coaches change, you were recruited to a different system, and you have to start over. You only have 1 year left, and it's very difficult, but he has handled this like a champ.
Whoa, got away from him. Redd goes back to try to get on the football. What a hustle job by Redd. I mean, that is not easy to field.
Not at all. And I want to tell you, this is going to sound crazy, but that was a great play.
Yes,
it was.
That
could have been a turnover on the 5-yard line. I really think he was trying to check the play, and the ball was snapped a little bit early.
Watch this cat get after it. Look at this.
No, that ball was just a fastball over the outside corner, and that's a great play right there to come up with that thing.
Boy, you talk about laying it down. That would have been an easy score for UNA. That's the kind of effort you're looking for, and you're going to see from Mississippi College. Now out of the shotgun, Redd looking downfield, and looked like there was a broken pattern. He was looking out toward Jamie Harris. Harris had broken the pattern a little early, and now that's going to bring up going to be 3rd down, I believe.
Well, our box over there says 2nd down. I'm pretty sure it's
now
not
they've
that.
moved
Now
it
it's
to
3rd
third.
down. All right, here we go. You know, just about every 3rd down that Mississippi College has had tonight
It's been long, haven't
has been long, and this is the longest of the long right here. And, of course, the bad snap obviously is responsible for that.
Yeah, the ball's at the 7-yard line, and they have to get it just out, well, to the 40.
Yeah, to the
35-yard line. Yep. This one thrown underneath to number 2, James Bank.
Not a bad call
right.
At all. A nice little slip screen out there, and really Banks had a little trouble catching it cleanly, and might have had a little room to run right there because he had a blocker and only one defender out there. But and again, you know, when you're a young program and you're getting started, this is a pretty tough defense to get well against.
Victor Jenkins, number 21, had the coverage. And Tyler Pope punts it away. Fair catch called for and taken by Marshall at the 44-yard line for the Lions of UNA. 41 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And UNA will go on the attack again.
Be interesting to see if they keep their speed-up tempo right
Yes.
here with a little cushion, or whether they'll be a little more conventional as far as setting up their plays. They do appear to be a little more in a slow-down mode as this thing starts.
Well, they couldn't have been any faster at the beginning of the game, Coach. That's
racehorse
for sure.
tempo.
They're at the gate, and they're off. Play fake by Wingo, throws down across the middle of the field. Great coverage that time. Actually, double coverage. Good job defensively by number 13, I think it was on the play over there. That's Kyron Williams. I'll make it number 33, my mistake. Alexander Greer on the coverage. He was right there.
Yeah, that time Mississippi College was in man underneath coverage, and a nice job by Greer of locking up on that receiver.
Second down and 10. And Luke Wingo back at quarterback. They're going to swing it to the near side and nearly intercepted. That was Delvon Carpenter. Was ready to run, but he forgot one element.
Well, he was tied up with a blocker, and I tell you, that ball almost stuck in his, in his armpit right there.
Well, that would hurt.
Well,
the football in the armpit.
That would have been interesting going the other way. And, that time, the timing of the pass and the block were a little bit too close together, or UNA had themselves another big play.
26 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Wingo sees the pressure. Now he's going to run it. First down and then some. Wingo at the 20. Wingo at the 10. Touchdown, Wingo. What about the junior quarterback out of Tuscaloosa?
Well, they told us when we talked with him that Wingo ran 4.57. Now MC is going to come with an all-out blitz. They're going to bring 6, all 3 linebackers. And of course, if that first wave doesn't get him,
look out. The
secondary is in man coverage, and if you get him locked up, just like happened out there with a block by the wide receiver, you're going to run a long way. And this time, Wingo shows that 4.57 all the way for 6.
And here's a guy that rushed for 18 touchdowns last year. And the extra point is on the way, and it's good. Well, everybody getting into the act, and as we mentioned, this is one of the latest season openers ever for UNA, and I think all the bottled-up enthusiasm has really happened. Look at the scoring drive, a 54-yard touchdown run by junior quarterback Luke Wingo.
And he looked every bit like a 4.57 guy.
Didn't
he?
Yeah.
He outran the coverage, and it's the thing with a blitz. If if that first wave doesn't get there, you're going to run for a long way. Nice look at him right there on the sideline. Nothing to it, guys.
Yeah. As I mentioned, he actually had 18 touchdown passes. He had 13 rushing last year. It's still pretty good.
It's been really fun to watch him develop over the
Isn't
years.
it?
We saw him as a true freshman. He didn't play bad at all. As a freshman, I think he, got tired as the year went on, like many freshmen do. He was much better last year, and through one quarter of one game of his season this year, he looks to be a much improved player again this year.
And John Bland, of course, has a look at the big picture.
Well, he's doing what all good coaches do. He's just going to keep coaching.
Yep.
And he's going to keep his team motivated, and they're going to try to look for small victories here.
And our kickoff presented by Florida Space Coast. And this one is a yard deep, but they're going to bring it out. It's Cerrado on the return, breaks the tackle, and now is pulled down at about the 14-yard line.
That was Wingo's longest career run, 57 yards. His previous was 41 against UNC Pembroke last year.
And Jeff Hodges, the great SID.
He's as good as they come.
How's that for a quick note? And what probably not only his longest, but probably his best run going through a lot of traffic like that.
All right, Kyle Smith back in for Mississippi College. Now what the Choctaws will try to do right here is they'll just try to sustain a drive. A lot of 4-yard plays, run some clock, get a first down, then try to get another first down, and just be very methodical right here.
And it's on the ground with red. That was Kyle Smith. They've both been in there, and that'll be the final play of the first quarter. Well, UNA was ready to get started. I think they have in the first quarter. 28-0 over Mississippi College. We'll be back. GSC TV on ESPN3 is brought to you all season by Florida Space Coast, Cocoa Beach area, Orlando's closest beaches, and by the Gulf South Conference, Compete, Impact, Graduate, and presented locally by Watson Quality Ford. And we welcome you back. It's a 28-0 game, UNA with the advantage, and it's a third down play, third down at about 5. I'd like to welcome in a very special guest. Cliff Mitchell is with us from, of course, Watson Quality Ford, one of our presenting sponsors. Cliff, great to have you on with us. You're stuck between an old kicker and a coach. I don't know how you feel about that, but thanks for your support. And first of all, I know your family has great tradition, not only with your car dealership, but with Mississippi College.
Yes, we do. My wife, my daughter, 2 brother-in-laws, father-in-law, all graduated from here. So we love Mississippi College and love supporting the school.
Yeah, I bet you do. That's a first down play by Mississippi College. And one of the things that, of course, being a family tradition and what's happening here at Mississippi College, a great university, what got you involved in the program and especially with the coverage here on ESPN3?
Well, of course, we like supporting Mississippi College, but we're also glad to help with the GSC. We're glad to see them back on campus. They were here when I was here. So helping support and get this out and, let our alumni across the country, they get to tune in to ESPN3 and see the ball game. So we're just glad to support you guys.
We were amazed. Coach Rhodes, of course, coached at Troy, and when you guys had some head-to-head battles, and he was just amazed when we came back on campus. The changes have been made. People that don't know about Mississippi College are really missing opportunities here, aren't they?
Oh, exactly. Back when he coached against us here, we were in an old brick stadium across on the other side. So the facilities are awesome.
And one of the things, too, that people don't realize, the student-athletes, particularly in the Gulf South Conference, we've seen them now for 10 years. I have as a broadcaster, and they represent their universities so well. And that's one of the things I know that impressed you, to not just giving out the messages of about your company and the GSC, but Mississippi College's students overall, because it's one of the best universities around anywhere.
It is. It's got great tradition. You see a lot of the students who graduate from here actually stay here in the market, and something that we as a company like to see. We like student athletes. We like to hire them. They're disciplined. They understand teamwork and hard work.
That's right. And that's hard work is good in anything. But I know as your company has grown over the years through your family and the university growing, people don't realize how important it is for communities that have a Mississippi College or other universities in the GSC. Is on this third down and short play is going to come up a little bit short. The marriage of the two really helps not just the business but the university, and as you said, keeps a lot of your graduates here and makes them successful beyond their university degree.
It does, and it's also good for our surrounding communities.
Right.
It brings in, you look at the crowd that UNA brought tonight. I mean, that's hotel rooms, restaurants. I mean, it's great, and getting back into GSC with Mississippi College, I mean, we're just excited about, meeting some of those rivalries that we had back then.
It's going to be great. I'm telling you, everybody is so excited as we'll have the punt coming up here, a low bouncing punt. And let's see, it's going to come to rest about at the 20-yard line. Cliff, thanks for visiting with us. It's a pleasure, and thanks for your support of the GSC and Mississippi College.
Thank
and
you
for made it through
us.
A kicker and a coach. How's that?
We did well. Thank you so much.
Thanks. That's Cliff Mitchell of Watson Quality Ford. 28-0 North Alabama. We'll be right back.
I need my space. I need my space to call my own. Space for galaxies of fun. Space for splashing in the sun.
Find your space on Florida's Space Coast. Home to Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, 72 miles of Atlantic Ocean beaches, and Florida Tech football. Florida Space Coast, your space for fun.
We are Mississippi's oldest university, and the first co-educational university in the country to grant a degree to women. We offer more than 80 undergraduate fields of study and 50 graduate concentrations. Our adult and online programs provide the flexibility to take courses on your schedule. We are your first step towards a brighter future. We are Mississippi College.
Being an athlete, you have to have a really strong mind.
Then I realized I got to get to work and I want to be successful someday. So
Just become, that person that you want to be because you've worked so hard knowing what to get done when to get up extra shots, when to read a little deeper into your chapter.
And show my team that I'm here to lead them.
hard work that's put into it, all the dreaming about it, and finally becomes reality. It's pretty special.
There's a great crowd here tonight in Clinton, Mississippi. These folks are excited about their football and excited of being a part of the GSC. And a year or so be competing for championships. And tonight they are facing a North Alabama team that has just really been ready to play. And one of the reasons is because they've had a lot of depth. And we're going to see a lot of Taj Kimball tonight. He's the transfer we talked about from Boston College.
Well, to this point, UNA has lived up to advanced billing.
Yes, they have
been an extremely impressive football team in every phase of the game. A lot of good players. Now, this is an interesting young man right here. This is Jacob Tucker, okay? You notice that long hair right there?
Yeah.
He told his teammates when he played in his first college game, he was cutting that hair. So maybe at halftime that hair will be gone. I don't know. But he's their third quarterback, and he is another very talented player. And, some questions are getting answered about this UNA team. We knew that there was some talent. There are questions as to how it would fit together for at least one quarter and some change. It's been fitting together very, very well.
Yes, it has. On first down, Tucker getting some pressure, and now he goes down. Good job by number 52 made the stop for Mississippi College. And that is Carl Rainey Jr. He's out of Pascagoula, Mississippi.
That was supposed to be a little scat combination. One receiver goes inside, the other one goes outside, but the inside receiver never got inside, and nowhere to go with the football, and a real nice play for the sack.
So a loss of about 4. We'll call it 2nd and 14.
Haven't seen many 2nd and 14s on this side of the ball tonight.
Nope. And we had an infraction from the left end position. I think it was C.J. O'Quinn, number 28, that jumped across there early.
A guy that we have not heard much from tonight is Josh Williams, number 99.
Yeah, he's a preseason All-American, has 30 career starts. Of course, been a lot of people maybe run by him because, that first couple of series, it was unbelievable, and now they get some yardage back.
Yep.
Got the 5 yards back via the penalty. Now it's 2nd and 10. Motion. Tucker with the flip out to the right side. That's number 5, Diamond Simmons. And Simmons, he's only had a couple of carries. That's really the other part of the running game.
Well, he's the other
got a three-headed monster.
Well, you can see he can run in his own right now. I remember when he was a freshman, I think he averaged like 21 yards a carry. Something unbelievable. I don't think he's averaging that now, but you can see he's got some wheels on him as well.
Yeah, he got almost 300 yards last year. Completion, Tevin Cook, the freshman from Roanoke, Alabama. He gets his first catch as a collegian. And now you're starting to see some of those young receivers that we heard UNA wanted to get some playing time. And, boy, they're pretty good ones, too.
Well, what's impressive now, and these are a lot of backups in the game. They're not missing a beat. The rhythm is the same, and that throw is just a tad behind the receiver on a little hitch route, but doesn't look like that UNA has missed a beat.
So it's 2nd down and 10.
I see Taj Kimball is back in the game, the big power back.
He's to the right of Jacob Tucker. Of course, they look to the sideline and get the play. Yeah, definitely a little slower speed now.
Yeah, the tempo has slowed down, and that may be for the big guys up front. You know, they're not very deep.
Tucker, good protection, throws. What a good catch. Guess who? Lee Mayhall. They said he wasn't 100%, but
I'm not real sure that ball was going to him or whether it was going to Dre Hall.
Well, he went and got it, didn't he?
He sure did. You can see there's two right in the same lane, but I tell you, the ball was thrown with authority and had a lot on it. And,
but I bet the quarterback will appreciate whoever takes it first.
He's going to take the yardage now.
Yeah. So now it's 3rd and short for Tucker. Out of the shotgun. He's going to keep it himself and get the first down, and still on the move. Second effort by Tucker, and he's going to be spotted at the 15-yard line. You know, so not only Wingo and Tucker, they both run the ball very well.
Well, we've seen this play a lot in short yardage throughout this conference. What UNA does is they shift their tight end and slot over from the short side to the wide side. Really gives them an unbalanced line. Double down, kick out, lead through, quarterback power. Very, very difficult play to stop in short yardage.
And, of course, the first down from the 15, Tucker. It goes to Simmons. Simmons covered up on the right side. Good tackle that time by number 23, who came up there quickly for Mississippi College. And that is Reggie Bennett, the defensive back. And, boy, you better respond from that secondary when you see these guys run, because they get through there in a hurry.
Yeah, that was another version of the power play. And what impressed me about Simmons is Weddle hit him right in the hole, and he broke that tackle for another 2 yards.
Gain of 1, we'll call it. Second down and about 9. And Tucker keeps it himself and is banged down at the 5. But Tucker, the sophomore, will fall down to the 4.
That's the quarterback counter off the read play, and really executed very well. To this point, the biggest problem it looks like Tucker has is when he gets in an open space.
Right.
Those white lines trip him up a little bit.
Chris Manning and Peyton Gray both involved in that play defensively. And it looks like we may have a timeout. Mississippi College going to take a timeout with 8:50 remaining in the first half, when it's been all UNA and the lid lifter for the Lions here tonight against Mississippi College. We'll be right back.
Being an athlete, you have to have a really strong mind.
Then I realized I got to get to work and I want to be successful someday. So
just become, that person that you want to be, because you've worked so hard, knowing what to get done when to get up extra shots, when to read a little deeper into your chapter.
And show my team that I'm here to lead them.
Hard work that's put into it, all the dreaming about it, and finally becomes reality. It's pretty special.
Anytime you make the transition to Division II, you get a lot of publicity.
One of the first things we've done is we have the NCAA logo right on our front side, so we want everybody to know we're excited to be a part of the NCAA. We look forward to competing at the highest level.
This university is a great place to learn, and it needs and deserves that kind of education.
It just increases the quality of student that we have academically and athletically.
That really has changed, I think, this institution.
The Gulf South Conference is focused on the student athlete and supporting its 12-member institutions by competing for regional and national championships, graduating student athletes at the highest rate, and impacting its community in a meaningful way. Headquartered in Birmingham, the GSC features a dynamic blend of public and private institutions. Its members and student athletes represent the very best in the NCAA. Compete, graduate, impact. The Gulf South Conference.
Great crowd on hand here tonight in Clinton, Mississippi for Mississippi College and North Alabama. And again, welcome back to Mississippi College after 18 years Of course, they were a member for a long time. Have a new head coach in John Bland, who came from the University of the Cumberlands in Williamsburg, Kentucky. He has great pedigree. He's won everywhere he's been. Was 70-20 in 8 years at Cumberland. It was a runner-up in NAIA last year. He really knows how to get it done. This pass incomplete. Good coverage, double coverage deep in the end zone. That was intended for Willie Bland.
Yeah, I'm not real sure that Tucker just didn't throw that ball away.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
double cover on the tight end and trying to get it up to Bland, who is 6'7", which would mean it's pretty thin air.
Pretty
up there
good
where he
target.
is,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about North Alabama too. UNA, they always have, really solid offenses, and I think now that they, of course, since Bobby Wallace has been back. Here is Tucker on a quarterback draw, and he takes it in for the touchdown. I mean, that one was right there, and he took it. But when they changed from all the transfers back to the 4-year players, a mix-in of a few junior college players, this is what Bobby Wallace wants.
Well, this again is the quarterback counter off of the speed sweep. Extremely well blocked up front, nice hole, and Tucker's able to walk in and. I don't know. Not only has he played, he scored. I imagine that he may have a crew cut by Monday.
And the extra point on the way, and it's good by Taylor Pontius, the outstanding place kicker and punter. And UNA has opened up a 35-0 lead with 8:40 to go in the first quarter. More from Clinton, Mississippi, in just a moment. .35 UNA with the advantage over Mississippi College, but a scoring drive. You see Tucker completes it with that 4-yard run. And Bobby Wallace right in front of Tucker there. He was saying, I can't believe the NFL's even played before we played. I think he feels better now.
I think this is the longest I've seen a team wait for an opener since I've been in football.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to have hurt them too much.
No. And, the other thing about it, you talk about all the things as we were driving in here tonight. We all drove down together today. You were talking about some of the great experiences you had when you were at Troy. You had Troy, Jacksonville State, UNA, Mississippi College. You guys had some really, really great football.
There were tremendous rivalries, and we had some great experiences, but we had some bad ones too now. I mean, we had some tough times over here.
Yeah.
And, really, I mean, in one sense, the score of the game is almost immaterial because these two teams are on two
Right.
separate journeys.
Right. And they know it,
yeah,
too.
UNA is, they're going to be in the hunt for conference and national honors for sure. For MC, this is a new birth for them. And as you look around the facilities that they've created
this
here
crowd.
and the crowd that's still here and still involved in the game, just to be back started. You can't make the journey unless you take a first step.
That's right.
And there's a shot of the crowd right there.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a great night for the league. It's really good to have them back. I got some old bruises that are starting to well up again, but
this pass incomplete from Red. He threw it a little bit behind Cerrado. On the coverage was Filbert Marshall. But as you said, Rick, and people need to realize, what it's like. You've been through the process, but now it's even, we'll say, more challenging in the words of Coach Brent.
Well,
you're moving up to a whole different division again.
There's no question about it.
There's no shortcuts.
And I don't mean this is nothing negative about the MC players at all because they're playing extremely hard and playing well. They're playing against arguably one of the best teams in the country. But they were not a great Division III team last year.
Right.
And no spring practice, 17 scholarships, brand new staff in, having to learn. To be out here to be competing with this crowd in this setting, I think is a great first step, and that shouldn't be lost because the score is pretty lopsided right now.
Well, and really one of the reasons that into discussions of kicking off our season once again, the 10th year. Here's a low punt fielded by Marshall. This is a dangerous one if Marshall gets some room, and here he goes down the sideline, makes another move, and finally is knocked down at the 8, and a flag comes in very late. This guy is electrifying.
Well, he is one of the best punt returners in the country, and last year as a true freshman he was. And it's the first time really he's had a chance to get loose tonight. Usually that's a block in the back or I didn't see a face mask.
And we'll wait for the official call.
I always love this part, Paul. Unless I'm not going to say anything else. We have good officials in this league. I just wish sometimes we would move a little quicker.
Well, trying to get it right, I guess, and we're all discussing.
Block below the waist on the kicking team, number 42. Back the distance to the goal. First down.
Well, the rule, there can be no contact below the waist in kicking situations by either side unless the participant has the ball. You can tackle him anywhere except a headshot, and that's what was called. You don't see that very much, but Coach Bland is going to
right. He just wanted. I think he just wants an explanation.
Yeah.
And here comes Wingo back up on the field, and now it's going to be 1st and goal after that penalty, as they'll put it at the 4-yard line. A great return again by Marshall. Wingo flushed from the pocket, and now he's knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. Good defensive play by Mississippi College. C.J. O'Quinn out of Brookhaven, Mississippi. JUCO player, a junior. Good job by number 28, 6 foot, 225-pounder. So a loss of 3 yards on that play.
Well, that's the thing I think that Coach Bland wants to see from his side. Well, Coach Wallace, too, as well. I mean, they want their players to keep playing hard.
Exactly.
You don't want to get anybody hurt, and that's one reason to do it. And the other thing is just pride in your team and in the game. Keep playing hard no matter what the score is on both sides of the ball.
Right. That was Taj Kimball, number 22, who's getting a lot of action. Greer made the stop along with Bennett. And now it's 3rd down and goal as they'll mark it at the 3. And they give it off to Kimball, and he bulls his way in for the touchdown.
Shows you some of that power.
Yes,
that,
it is.
That we were referring to earlier. He just lowered his shoulder and took a couple of Mississippi College defenders into the end zone with him. And
how about UNA's folks they brought around tonight?
They brought a good crowd with them, but they looked a little tired there from cheering. So
I know you got to visit with some of your friends. And
I did. Cody Gross, the offensive coordinator and the quarterback for their national championship teams, and I are good friends. I had a chance to see him, and they have obviously a very good coaching staff. Good,
and they have kids that
people.
are grown.
Yeah, they have kids that have grown.
The extra point was good, and that makes it 42-0 UNA with 6 minutes to go in the half.
Just a little.
There's that.
Just a little cross-block zone, zone to the left of the screen as you look at it, and the power back filled on the backside end made a nice little crease, and Kimball hugged that block and took it in the end zone for a nice little 3-yard touchdown.
And he's getting some work. And again, that power back, if you remember Coffey from last year,
right.
A little different, but smaller, but he was that guy that had that explosion from a fullback position I think.
And I think that was the thing that was missing in their running game. They have two electrifying tailbacks.
Right.
But they didn't have that big back. And Kimball could have gone some other places when he transferred. And but he wanted to come to UNA, and even though he knew he was going to have to share time, and I think that's commendable by that young man.
Well, again, we're so happy to have our presenting sponsor for the season. And this kickoff presented by that sponsor, Florida's Space Coast, Cocoa Beach, the Melbourne area, Titusville, beautiful part of Florida.
Pretty exciting place.
Yes, it is. And we'll be down in that Melbourne area in a few weeks.
Anxious to see them and their young freshman quarterback.
Florida Tech, yep. And a return out to the 22-yard line.
And, of course, the big job right now for the Choctaw coaching staff is, guys, let's not even look at that scoreboard. Let's concentrate on the task at hand, which is let's run one good play. Let's get 4 yards on this play, then let's get 4 more, and then get 4 more. We got a first down, we'll go again. They would like nothing better than to get a sustained drive to keep this thing moving and try to slow this bleeding just a little bit.
Well, and again, we've talked about all the external things and the small things as a coach. You'll notice just the way on the sideline, the team, look how they get together and respond to their coaches. I mean, there's organization here. I want to tell you about a little slogan as we watch this option play to the far side of the field. That's Therion Robinson, the sophomore out of Fort Walton Beach. One of the things Coach Bland wanted to talk about, he said, he put it in quotes, I will. And he talked about, I will give great effort. I will promote positive image. And I will prepare to win. Doesn't seem like much, but as a coach, explain why that's important.
It's important that you have something that states what you're going to live by every single day. And I'm sure that's prominently displayed in their locker room and, throughout their building. And that's what they're going to hinge on. And, when things are going real good or real bad, that's when those things become real, real important. Now, you can see that what they've done now is they've gone back to the traditional double slot option football, which I personally think is a good move at this point. I mean, let's work on our offense. Let's get better at it. And, they've had some manageable third down situations since they did that. One of the things that we haven't seen much of tonight is we haven't seen very much of Chris Ingram.
Right.
He had a 54-yard TD run last week against Belhaven. He did have one nice run for a 6-yard gain for a first down. And let's see if maybe they can't dial him up here on this third down and 5.
And Smith, Kyle Smith, the quarterback. Yep, he hands this one off to Serrato. Serrato picks up a yard or two. That's what you're talking about, Coach. You have to.
Well, and you can see here that this offense is not something that's second nature to them yet.
Right.
I mean, there's no way that it can be. And, that was a little cross-buck counter. The Serrato was just a little bit too shallow, couldn't negotiate the corner. Should have had a little more depth, but that'll come as he runs the offense. And gets more time with it. Very nice closing by the UNA defense. Another good job by them.
This time Jarrett Smith back deep to receive the punt. Marshall getting a break. Poe puts this punt in the air and going to just try to get away from it as UNA gets a fortuitous bounce. And it'll be down at the 44-yard line, and that's where the Lions, with 3:50 to go in the first half, leading 42-0, will take over possession of the football. But one of the things, Coach, we were talking about, I wanted to give that motto, so to speak, that Coach Bland is want to go by. People don't realize when you change your coaches, and every coach, and you did the same, you're changing the culture too. It's everything around the game, not just your X's and O's. There's all those other things that are really important. And once again, Taj Kimball almost breaks for a first down on a run, picks up 9 on the play.
He's not exactly a dancer, is he?
No,
he
is.
I mean, he's got an arrow that goes straight ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't need a whole lot of part of the field. He keeps it again and picks up about 3 or 4 yards and the first down. He's going to be a valuable player for UNA. He has 2 years to play.
Yeah, he does. He does. And of course, what they're doing here is they're working out. I blew this earlier. All right, this young man is Jacob Thomas. This is the guy with the long hair that when he got in a college game was going to cut it. Well, I apologize to everyone. Right. The other long-haired quarterback, I'm going to talk to Cody, man. They got to get this straight.
See, they got to get the haircut.
They got to get some haircuts on this team.
But Kimball gets the carry again. Well, I got to tell you.
And I tell you one thing, that young man needs a haircut.
Well, you're going to be mad at me after I tell you this. You know, when I was a kicker in college.
Oh, I'm sure you had it.
Well, I had hair
down your back. I've seen pictures of you back then. I mean, you were a typical late 70s.
I was a hippie.
Saturday Night Fever guy.
I won't tell you what you really said. Here's a gain of about 3 or 4 yards on the play.
Well,
you told me I was some kind of star,
Look,
but I didn't realize.
Listen, I need to clear this up now. Jacob Tucker, who I said was going to get a haircut, is not getting a haircut. I don't want all his girlfriends to get upset. He's going to have all that long hair. But this young man right here, Jacob Thomas, said that if he got in the game, he was going to cut his hair. And, of course, when
get the clippers out.
Of course, when he said that, Winkle said, I'll let you start the game if you'll cut that hair.
If you'll cut your hair. Well, guess what? Get out the clippers. But they are really high on this young man. They had the same first name, and look at him.
You can see
now.
why.
He fell down. Oh, what a nice run. You know what? Maybe he said if he scored a touchdown, he was going to cut it really short. What a run.
Well,
watch him.
You know, this is the quarterback power play right here. A nice kick out block by the up back. The tailback leads through, and really the only fault I've seen with the UNA quarterbacks tonight is they seem to, after about 12 yards, they seem to trip themselves up. So good, tough running inside.
Yep. Well, he is Jacob. There's something about Jacob and quarterbacks at UNA. There's a good look at him. And the particulars, of course, 5'8", 170, redshirt freshman.
He's from Clay Chalkville High School, right outside of Birmingham, and very illustrious high school career there. You know, they obviously UNA has really scaled back their offense.
Yeah, they have.
Now, just running mainly between the tackles and trying to work that clock a little bit. And you get a look at the Mississippi College defense right there, a little bit hands on hips and, you know, breathing pretty hard. They've been on the field a long time tonight.
Yep. Simmons got that carry. A minute to go in the first half.
You know, as deep as UNA is, you know, it's not like that they can go way down the line and put in some young guys. I mean, these guys are all good players.
This one in the back of the end zone, just out of bounds. It was 83 Eric Ballou making that catch.
Yeah, that's that little half roll right there that was so successful. But you can see does not really know his spot on the field. You see both heels are on the white. Plus we got a hold now against UNA, so that'll back them up.
And it'll be third down and, well, a lot now. About 13, 14. See where they spotted. About 15 yards. Jacob Thomas, the third quarterback used in the game for UNA. But now they're going to move it back a little bit again. Oh, they declined the penalty. That makes sense.
Now
it's fourth down. Yep. And now that'll bring a Taylor Pontius, the kicker. which is always a very exciting part of the game. And our field goals presented by Florida Space Coast. And a field goal, a 25-yarder. And it's up and it's good.
We made that look easy, didn't we?
He did, yep. That makes it 45-0 with 41 seconds to go.
Well,
and, one of the things, too, I wanted to mention, Rick, this game was created for tonight for a reason, as we were talking about. The storyline is bigger than the game in terms of the long-range reach of the Gulf South Conference.
Well, there's no question about it. There's a scoring drive right there. Pontius with a very
not
cool
my
and
range.
Concise 25-yard field goal. Partner, you were good for at least
now look
28.
at the green tee.
Now look at that. Well, it matches his shoes. I mean, that's the thing.
Geez.
Did your tee match your shoes?
No.
What color was the tee? Black. What color were your shoes?
Black.
Well,
Well,
there you go. As you can see, Coach Wallace extremely excited, as he always is on the sideline.
But what a legend, huh?
He's, one of the best there's ever been in the Gulf. Well, the best there's ever been in the Gulf South Conference. And as I said earlier, has such a great way with players. And
this kickoff looks like it could be on the Florida Space Coast, doesn't it?
It looks like we're ready for takeoff right here.
5, 4,
I don't
3.
think I've ever seen a kicking tee exactly like that.
Well, now you have.
All right.
Going to be deep in the end zone and no return.
Works out pretty well. That
Yeah.
6 yards deep. Well, how would you compare UNA at this point with, the great teams we've seen over the last, for 10 years,
Wow, I tell you. Well, I think the thing about them that if I was another coach that would be scary is the fact that, they said they don't, they're concerned about leadership a little bit. But I think their depth is even deeper than it's been in all the years that I've seen, just based on the young players that we heard have so much potential.
Well, they play Langston next week, a team that they should handle. But then they play Valdosta State. And guess who will be there?
Yep.
GSC TV.
Yep. There's a good run to the near side. There's Chris Ingram. You wondered where he was, Coach. That's why this guy had a 54-yard touchdown run last week for Mississippi College.
This is a nice little cutback run right here. And, Ingram has some tools now. He's a very good runner, a hard-nosed guy. And I think that, as MC evaluates this game, one of the things they're going to say is, we just really were not able to establish Ingram very much at all in this game. Trying to run wide on UNA is iffy at best.
Yeah, and they try it to the short side of the field with Cerrado, and maybe he picked up about a half yard on the play. Well, the other thing Coach Bland was so excited about, we were involved in a conference call the other day, is the ability to be able to recruit in a hotbed of football.
Yeah, and
he's as excited about that as anything.
And I tell you, I know a little bit of something about recruiting in Mississippi, and there are great players in this state.
We've made it to halftime, and North Alabama was excited to get the season started, and they pick up where they left off last year at the end of the season. 45-0 North Alabama over Mississippi College. Halftime is coming up next.
Yes, it's football season, and nothing beats a great tailgate. Except when you do it at a new Ford from Watson Quality Ford. During Ford's Truck Month, Watson Quality Ford has over 250 F-150s in stock.
Save $12,000 off of MSRP on a 2014 F-150, or buy for just $19,900.
Buy any new F-150 and get an ultimate tailgate package. Nothing beats a good tailgate, and nobody beats number one, Watson Quality Ford. Where?
Wow, Bill's got the deals. Woo-hoo!
We are Mississippi's oldest university and the first co-educational university in the country to grant a degree to women. We offer more than 80 undergraduate fields of study and 50 graduate concentrations. Our adult and online programs provide the flexibility to take courses on your schedule. We are your first step towards a brighter future. We are Mississippi College.
The The Gulf South Conference is focused on the student athlete and supporting its 12-member institutions by competing for regional and national championships, graduating student athletes at the highest rate, and impacting its community in a meaningful way. Headquartered in Birmingham, the GSC features a dynamic blend of public and private institutions. Its members and student athletes represent the very best in the NCAA. Compete, graduate, impact. The Gulf South Conference.
Space to call my own. Space for galaxies of fun. Space for splashing in the sun.
Find your space on Florida's Space Coast. Home to Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, 72 miles of Atlantic Ocean beaches, and Florida Tech Football. Florida's Space Coast, your space for fun.
I just started looking throughout the whole nation, and Union really stood out to me.
My senior year, I decided to give Union a look, and I fell in love with it.
I definitely see it as a community, the integration of faith and learning.
Spend the extra time and actually come visit Union, seeing the type of students that are here, talking with the professors. There's never a dull moment here on campus.
Welcome back to halftime on our GSC TV Game of the Week presented by Florida Space Coast. The GSC welcomes first ever title sponsor of its Game of the Week package, Florida Space Coast. Here's a complete look at the exciting vacation opportunities that can be found all across Florida Space Coast.
Florida Space Coast is where natural wonders and exhilarating adventures go hand in hand. This is the home of America's space program, quite literally the nation's gateway to the universe. It was the departure point for a historic moonwalk, a visit to the International Space Station, and it's where Space Shuttle Atlantis is now on permanent display. Live rocket launches are open to the public. How cool is that? Back on Mother Earth and less than an hour's drive from Orlando, you'll find 72 glorious miles of Atlantic coast beaches from Melbourne to Cocoa. Cocoa Beach was voted one of America's top beach towns, and its landmark pier is the perfect place to sit and watch the world go by. We're the East Coast surfing capital of the U.S., and we have surf schools and board rentals to get you started. Surf legend Kelly Slater grew up in Cocoa Beach, and there are surf festivals and competitions year-round. The Space Coast is a popular stop on the Great Florida Birding Trail. People from all over the world gather to focus on our feathered friends, over 300 species in all. Everything from birds of prey to flocks of wading birds resting in a lagoon. An airboat is a great way to see our wide open spaces, skimming across 170,000 spectacular acres of Florida wetlands. These amazing machines will take you where a regular boat simply can't go. It's a wind in the hair experience that's not to be missed. Port Canaveral is one of the world's busiest cruise ports. 4 million passengers a year can't be wrong. It's home to some fabulous state-of-the-art cruise ships, and Jetty Park is a great place to watch them head out for the blue waters of the Caribbean. Our wilderness areas provide habitat for more than 500 species of fish. Enjoy surf casting or fishing from a boat. Choose from saltwater or fresh. Our area guides are known for their expertise and will give you a wonderful day on the water. We're located where temperate and subtropical climate zones collide, and you can find animals and plants here that are found nowhere else on Earth. Explore from a kayak, on horseback, on a bike, or maybe try stand-up paddleboarding. Brevard Zoo was voted one of the top 10 small zoos in the U.S. Home to more than 160 species, it's the only zoo in the country to feature kayak adventures on site. Feed the giraffes, or experience a natural high over at Treetop Trek. our destination has shopping to suit all budgets and tastes. Stroll through historic districts with a surprising mix of quaint stores, galleries, and cafes. The world's largest surf shop is right on your doorstep, or you might hit the local farmer's market. Florida Space Coast has all the right elements for your vacation. It's the perfect blend of outdoor activities, family fun, and relaxation.
Welcome back to our GSC Game of the Week presented by Florida Space Coast, our coverage here at halftime. The Gulf South Conference Student Athlete Advisory Committee is made up of some of the best and brightest in the GSC. We had a chance to sit down with these impressive men and women and to hear what it takes to be a successful student athlete in the best Division II conference in the nation.
Balancing classroom responsibilities, homework, studying, along with my responsibilities on the basketball court is very hard work. It takes a lot of timing, it takes a lot of scheduling, it takes a lot of dedication. When you say you're going to do something, you have to do it, and you have to make sure that you have the time to complete the task because you can't be sloppy. And so it really is hard to focus on both aspects when they demand a lot of you. But the balancing act is in knowing what to get done when to get up extra shots, when to read a little deeper into your chapter, when to ask questions in class because you may not be here for the rest of the week. You have to really know and plan ahead, and that's really the trick in it all.
It is about, I guess, sacrifice. I mean, being away from my family, that's just something I have to sacrifice. I mean, they're always in my thoughts, and when I first leave them, it's tough, but then I realize I gotta get to work and I want to be successful someday. So I realize that that's just something I'm gonna have to do.
I think about being an athlete, you have to have a really strong mind, really. Your mindset, because I think of it like, when your mind is strong, then everything else will follow. I mean, that's why the Lord created it at the top of your head. You know, it's the top, and then everything trickles on down. And what advice I would give to them is basically, you gotta have a strong mind. You gotta be, you gotta have some willpower to really just, to go through a lot of stuff. You're gonna have bumps and bruises along the way, but if you have a strong mind, you're able to overcome anything. Anything that life throws at you, even what sports throw at you, you're able to overcome all of that.
My grandfather was diagnosed with lung cancer, I guess it would be freshman year of college before I was at Delta State, and making that first start was just it's just everything I worked for. You know, always dreamed of playing in college, always dreamed of being a college quarterback. Having my grandfather there, who died the next week, you know, he got to see that, having my entire family there. After all the you know, work, hard work that's put into it, all the dreaming about it, and finally becomes reality, it's pretty special.
As my final season, I'd like to really step up, you know, and show my team that I'm here to lead them. In the past, we've had people older than me who have more experience, and I always look to them. And to be a good leader, you first have to be a good follower, and I've learned very much from the people before me. So I plan to take that experience I had with them and pass it on to the freshmen and the sophomores and whatnot as they rise, and try to teach them how to become a leader.
I plan to go to grad school, and so not sure, you know, what career I want to take, but I know that playing Division II athletics is going to help me, you know, build that team aspect that you need in the job, and just become, you know, that person that you want to be because you've worked so hard in athletics that it's going to transfer into your career.
$45-0 North Alabama with the lead over Mississippi College in our GSC TV live game of the week on ESPN3, presented by Florida Space Coast. Don Russell, along with Coach Rick Rhodes. Rick, no great surprise things that we saw in the first half, other than the fact that UNA came out fast and they kept coming, playing as well as anybody last year in Division II, picking up right where they left off last year here in the first game tonight.
You know, it seemed like this up-tempo offense, and, you know, they told us before the game they were going to be up-tempo, but I didn't know they were going to be up-tempo. It seemed like it really got Mississippi College on their heels early, and really the Choctaws were never able to recover, and so it was a very dominating performance by a very, very impressive North Alabama Lion football team.
And you got to play a lot of people in the first half, too. When we get a chance to see some of the highlights from the first half, we're going to go ahead and roll those now. And some of the things from our first half highlights, you're going to see a chance for North Alabama. They scored, I think, on their first 3 possessions.
Yeah, and that's a little screen for the first score, and this is a scramble drill right here for the second. Very nice job. Very well-coached football team, veteran team that's been around. And there's a nice throw by Wingo to a true freshman, young Mr. Scott, for the score. And then,
best run he's ever had.
And then Luke Wingo takes care of all this himself. Great blocking downfield, by the way, by the receivers.
Yes, it was.
And, you know, as we look at these, the thing that kind of impressed me, and there is the backup that goes in for his score. And there's
Kimball.
Taj Kimball for his score. And You know, they say a lot of times that statistics don't tell the story. That is not the case here.
Yeah,
These statistics tell the story frankly, about as dominating a performance as I have ever seen by a college football team in a half, 219 to 45, and really I think the total rushing yardage, if you take away the lost yardage, is probably less than that. So, it's just a very, very dominating performance by as I said, a very, very good football team.
Yep. Indeed it is. We still have a second half of football to go, and I'm sure we'll see some adjustments from the coaching staffs. Particularly one of the things I think that Coach Bland did as well was the fact that he did change some things at the end of the half after he saw – even though you're behind, you still make adjustments, correct?
Well, there's, for sure. And, like Ingram finally got the ball a little bit. He only had 3 carries, but he averaged almost 7 yards a carry. And I think that this is a real important half for Mississippi College, that, they just want to continue on with their plan. They want to continue to get better as a football team. They can't be concerned about the score. They know they've just started on this journey. I know I've said this 100 times tonight, but it still is important to get something out of every game. And this second half, they can get a lot better as a football team. And North Alabama, I think, is going to want to try to continue to maintain momentum. And I tell you, one of the things that really impressed me about North Alabama, they really look like a bunch that likes to play football.
Yeah.
And that's real important on great teams. And, you didn't see guys doing things halfway. You didn't see guys kind of going through the motions. They just kept playing hard the whole time. And that was very, very impressive.
Still got another half of football to go, and Mississippi College and UNA doing battle in our GSC TV Live Game of the Week, presented by Florida Space Coast. We'll be right back. Great crowd on end here in Clinton, Mississippi. Our college football presented by Florida Space Coast, of course, in the Gulf South Conference, what we think is the best Division II league in the country. And North Alabama, a team that made it to the quarterfinals in the playoffs last year, certainly chomping at the bit to play, came out aggressive and really, it's just like opening the gate. When they let them out and they played extremely hard. And then we saw, of course, the Choctaws make some adjustments, and we'll continue to see that in the second half here as well between these two teams.
Well, I think that, as we said at the break, both teams, are going to be very specific about what they want to try to accomplish. Mississippi College would like to play this game like it's nothing to nothing, which is easier said than done. As you see their veteran senior quarterback warming up to start the half. I think UNA would like to get out of here with momentum still moving ahead and not get anybody hurt.
Yeah,
especially in some areas where they are a little bit thin.
Yeah,
their offensive line in particular. And this game, is a start, but this one's got a long way to go as far as the season. Just in the next 2 weeks, we got Valdosta State and Delta State. We got Valdosta State and UNA. So 2 weeks from now, this league race will be a lot more interesting. And I think it's a very, very exciting season for Gulf South Conference football. I think there's 6 teams in this league that really would have a shot at possibly winning the conference championship.
And we're getting some updates actually through Commissioner Matt Wilson on what's going on in the other games in the league. And Bobby Wallace, we mentioned in the first half, 13th season as a head coach. Of course, that's at North Alabama. And in the Division II Hall of Fame, the winningest coach in GSC history. And he's still as excited as he's ever been. I mean,
he has a lot of enthusiasm. He's where he wants to be. This is his place. And, and to his credit, there are many times you can go home again.
Right.
And that's pretty tough to pull off.
Yeah.
And the early returns are that he's going to be able to do it because I think he's got a great team in the making this year. And, he says they're a year away.
Right.
That their seniors are, won't be until next year because he's still pretty young football team.
And, and a real gentleman to boot. He's always polite to us, people outside the program. But, again, when we were talking to some of the coaches today down on the sideline, he's got that it. Anytime there's an issue, and they may all be different issues, he knows how to solve them. And that's a big part of it, isn't it, Coach?
Well, there's no question about that. And, every organization has to have a CEO.
Right.
And both these programs do.
Right.
Both these, Bobby Wallace he's very well known. Coach Bland is not nearly as well known in this league, but, he was a head coach at Southern Arkansas, did very well there, got in Division I football with Rice, did a tremendous job up at Cumberland's, and, I got a feeling he'll do very well here as well.
Yep, and as you saw, again, that kickoff sponsored by Florida Space Coast. Nice feature at halftime. We were ready to pack our bags.
Yeah, heck yeah. Really, except for rockets flying everywhere, a beautiful coast, impressive buildings, a great environment, there's not much going on there.
That's right. Well, we really appreciate their season-long presenting sponsorship, title sponsorship.
You betcha. And it really is a fantastic place. And
little razzle-dazzle here.
And I'll tell you what.
Jamie Harris, how's that coming out of the locker room with some purpose?
Now, that's a statement.
Yeah.
That's a statement right there. The double reverse and very well executed. And really, if the quarterback had gotten his block, it might have gone the distance. I doubt very much if Jonathan Redd spends a lot of time, on the old blocking sled. So that's forgiven. But a nice start to the half for the Choctaws.
Jamie Harris, a senior transfer from OBU. And here's Ingram with a positive play, about a 4-yard gain off the left side. We didn't see much early. But, boy, he's back in there now, and you can tell why he carried the load pretty much last week in their season-opening loss to Belhaven.
You got to like the way the Choctaws have come out and started the half. 2 very positive plays, 2nd down and 5 right here. That's right where they want to be. And, they're back on track, and they've opened it up a little more shotgun right here.
Redd takes a snap. He's going to keep it himself. And is close to first down yardage. It depends on the spot of the ball. But a very, very nice. What did I tell you? There'd be adjustments no matter what the score was, and you've seen it already.
And this is very similar to the type of plays that North Alabama ran in the first half.
Right.
That's the quarterback keeper off of the speed sweep look, and very well executed.
And it's 3rd and short, less than 1 to go. I thought the Space Coast was still up here with us. We had the lights on. Beaming in the lights. And looked like they're going to spot the ball for the first down. We'll have to wait till they unpile here.
This is going to be one of those left foot, right foot spots, and it looks like it was a right foot spot. So
that was Ingram again.
It is a first down.
And, they need to have Ingram. He's a junior, he's a JUCO. He's obviously, at least what we have seen, is the most talented, productive back.
And in this offense, that's the guy that, it all starts with a fullback, or as they call him, the A-back.
Right.
And that's the guy who's got to make it go. And you can see he is a tough, hard-nosed guy. I mean, that's a 5-yard play. And, that wasn't a finesse play right there.
Nope.
He took 2 UNA guys about 3 yards with him, to get those 5 yards. And this is very typical of option football, and this is the way that MC frankly would have liked to have started the game. Now they're ahead of the chains down and distance-wise. It's second and 5, and now they can run the whole playbook.
That was Jalen Shones who made the defensive play. He's a transfer from Eastern Kentucky University. Now Ingram swinging wide, has the first down as he's shoved out of bounds. And, boy, what a purpose we see from Mississippi College on their first drive here in the third quarter.
Yeah, they've come out with a sense of purpose. You can see a little spring in their step right here. And
blocking,
and
too.
Really very good blocking on the edge. I don't think Coach Bland just took dinner orders at halftime. I think he had a few things to say to his football team, and to this point they responded very, very well.
Well, and I think one of the things he said was the most challenging thing is they didn't get a spring practice.
Yeah.
That's when you get so much done.
Sure. They've really only been on the football field here for, a little over a month.
Yeah. This time a keeper, and again a positive play by Jonathan Redd. And it's going to bring up second down at about 8. But, everything external, the sideline, the crowd, and everything that you want is very organized. This is a program with a purpose to move back to where they were.
Yeah.
And
well, it's going to be fun to see them grow.
Yeah, it is. We'll get to see the process, won't we? Flip to the near side. That's complete to Rashad Crisp, a junior out of Richland, Mississippi. Good job. Catch by number 82.
Good job of closing by the UNA defense, too. Looked like that play might get a few more yards, and they closed very quickly.
And defense was the area they were concerned about. Not that they didn't know they had talent.
Just hadn't seen them,
they
hadn't played in a game.
And Coach Wallace said the last time he scrimmaged, I think it was a year or so ago, he had 3 ACLs.
Yep.
He said that was it. You just don't have the depth in Division II. Little swing pass to the near side. That's James Banks. And Banks doesn't get the first down, but he does put him in a situation where they can possibly go for it here.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th and about 3, and that's that little slip screen they tried earlier. That time UNA really had it defended pretty well. A nice effort by Banks to get what he did.
Jones made the stop for UNA.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Chris Ingram doesn't end up with a football in his hands.
Like we had offside, they're going to get it the easy way. Didn't make it, but obviously offsides at the bottom of your screen by UNA, unless somebody moved. But it's going to be an automatic first down.
And, that's probably been the biggest negative tonight for North Alabama. They've had 2 or 3 of those that, they just flat out mistimed. I don't know whether they were trying to time the snap or what, but that's not the first time that's happened tonight.
Defense, 25, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That was Jalen Jones again.
Yeah, and of course the other benefit of this, the Choctaws have run 5 minutes off of the third quarter.
Right. And what they do offensively, and when they do it even better, it is a ball control type offense.
Absolutely.
So 1st and 10, they'll spot it at the 18-yard line. And Ingram takes the carry again in positive yardage down to about the 13. Maybe the 14's where they'll spot it.
That's pretty classic wishbone football there. You know, it looked like it was about a 1-yard gain and 2nd and 6. That's just the way that it, the way that it works.
And you like that type of game too.
Well, it has its place. Yeah, it has its place. You know, I kind of got to where I like slinging it a little bit too.
Well, you did do that. I remember some guys that sling it. Trying to get wide, and that's one place you can't go.
You know, they just have had no luck with that at all against North Alabama tonight. Just too much speed on the edge. I think the only edge play I can remember that really gained much was the double reverse they did to start the half. And, of course, now this brings up this 3rd and 9, which, you know, you just want to stay out of.
Quad Freeman came up to make the stop. We're beginning to see some new faces on that defense, too, for UNA.
They still got some veterans in there. I see Triplett in there,
and
Stephen Rich, who's played a lot of football for him.
Triplett's a transfer. And they try to come to the near side and nothing doing. Ingram was the ball carrier, and UNA.
Looks like they may try a field goal and try to get on the board here.
Yep. Tyler Pohl, junior out of Pearl, Mississippi. Good carries that time by Ingram on that drive, though.
Yeah, you know, a nice drive. And, you know, I think the thing that's hardest to do when you're trying to put in a new offense is to get a real good play-action passing game.
And a kick is on the way, and the kick is no good.
Hooked it right.
Sure did. So a good drive by Mississippi College, but the field goal goes by the board. 45-0 UNA over Mississippi College.
I need my space. I need my space to call my own. Space for galaxies of fun. Space for splashing in the sun.
Find your space on Florida's Space Coast. Home to Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, 72 miles of Atlantic Ocean beaches, and Florida Tech Football. Florida Space Coast, your space for fun.
We are Mississippi's oldest university and the first co-educational university in the country to grant a degree to women. We offer more than 80 undergraduate fields of study and 50 graduate concentrations. Our adult and online programs provide the flexibility to take courses on your schedule. We are your first step towards a brighter future. We are Mississippi College.
Being an athlete, you have to have a really strong mind.
Then I realized I got to get to work, and I want to be successful someday. So
just become, you know, that person that you want to be because you've worked so hard, knowing what to get done when to get up extra shots, when to read a little deeper into your chapter.
And show my team that I'm here to lead them.
Hard work that's put into it, all the dreaming about it, and it finally becomes reality. It's pretty special.
Yes, it's football season, and nothing beats a great tailgate. Except when you do it in a new Ford from Watson Quality Ford. During Ford's Truck Month, Watson Quality Ford has over 250 F-150s in stock. Save $12,000 off of MSRP on a 2014 F-150, or buy for just $19,900. Buy any new F-150 and get an ultimate tailgate package. Nothing beats a good tailgate, and nobody beats #1 Watson Quality Ford. Where? Wild Bill's got the deals. Woo-hoo!
Now the folks haven't left here from Clinton, Mississippi on campus. They're here supporting their team as the Mississippi College returns to the Gulf South Conference. And trailing one of the number 5 team in Division II, 45-0. And this is Jacob Tucker. We saw Tucker, among others,
runs the read zone for a nice gain to the outside. He's been impressive tonight as well.
Yes, he has. And that's one position, boy, you want to have some depth. Because, you know, you lose your QB for any reason, practice in a game. And these guys are really, really effective. This was Simmons on the carry. And a lot of action
now,
around the league.
Now let's talk about something important here before we get to the lead. Did I get all the hair straightened out? I don't want anybody to think somebody's losing the hair that it isn't, or somebody's going to keep their hair that's going to lose it.
I think you did.
Okay, I just want to make.
I want to see it happen.
I really kind of.
We want to see a picture
of it. I kind of botched it. I feel bad about it. I don't want to.
Right. Hey, first game, you're all right. It's all good.
I personally think that
I never make any mistakes.
I personally think that probably both of them could use a little trim, but that's just me. I'm old school,
You are. This one tipped at the line of scrimmage. Good job by C.J. O'Quinn, a junior out of Brookhaven, the JUCO.
That was a nice play by Quinn.
Yeah, it was. See it again.
And that's a little bit of a lost art, guys. That you got to know how to time. When can I get there? When can I not get there? Gets those hands up and gets that thing knocked down. UNA looks to the sideline now for the change in the play.
That stops the clock with 6:59 to go in the third and a 45-0 lead.
There's a good look at Coach Stedman Campbell there, who does the signaling on the sideline for North Alabama.
And that was Taj Kimball again.
Another nice inside run.
And they kept it on the ground and didn't throw it. Going to bring up fourth down. Waiting for the substitutions.
Had an interesting weekend in the GSC again.
Yeah, really good week. We're going to
talk.
Really look at this high in the air. And that's the one you don't want to field. And look at this bounce.
Yeah, that one was above the lights.
Yes, it was. And it's going to roll dead at about the 4-yard line. We'll take a look at some of the other action that's happened in the GSC when we come back. It's 45-0. The Hall of Famer Bobby Wallace and his club. The Lions are roaring here against Mississippi College.
The Gulf South Conference is focused on the student athlete and supporting its 12-member institutions by competing for regional and national championships, graduating student athletes at the highest rate, and impacting its community in a meaningful way. Headquartered in Birmingham, the GSC features a dynamic blend of public and private institutions. Its members and student athletes represent the very best in the NCAA. Compete, graduate, impact. The Gulf South Conference.
At VSU, we're fired up. We spark intellect on a cool campus in a hot college town. We fan the spirit with national championships and fuel your fun side. Valdosta State University, ignite!
Heating and cooling, plumbing, electrical. Scholl's MPE is your one-call solution for installation and maintenance of every major brand. And during September, we're offering HVAC inspections for only $59.99. Plus, we provide free estimates scheduled at your convenience because we know how busy you are. Make running your home or office easier and check out SchollsMPE.com for all our specials. Scholl's MPE, one call does it all.
What would it be in the GSC without your cheerleader shot from the sideline?
It's all makes it special.
They get all excited about that.
That one went backwards.
Yes, it did. Under 6 minutes to go. Don Russell on with Rick Rhodes. Glad to have you along on ESPN3, our exclusive agreement this year. Of course, all of our coverage throughout the year presented by Florida Space Coast. That's the Cocoa Beach area, Melbourne Beach. Titusville, Orlando's closest beaches. And we'll be down in the Melbourne area in a few weeks for a matchup, a home game at Florida Tech. We'll be excited about making our first trip there. Low snap, and all really that Smith could do was pick up and try to get some yardage as the freshman.
Well, as good as the first series of the second half was for Mississippi College, this one has been
sputtered a bit.
Not much. 2 plays minus 2 yards, and I know that young Mr. Smith is a little frustrated, but it's a learning experience, and they're very high on him. They think he's got a great future. Again, had a great first game, and it'll be again fun to see him develop as he gets better and better at this offense.
Bad exchange. It's picked up by North Alabama, and I think they got the score. Pick it up, and they take it in. It's Jalen Jones.
Yeah, it looked like the handoff was clean. I'm sure we'll be able to see it if we have the replay. Looked like it just got punched out. It's a read play, and the handoff was not clean.
Yeah.
It looks like it was put in but never grasped, and Jones right on the spot picks that thing up, takes it in for his score, and as a defensive end, that probably doesn't happen every day.
No, and he just transferred from EKU, too,
yeah.
Eastern Kentucky.
6'4", 260 pounds. He kind of taking it in stride, really, a lot more than I would if I was a defensive end and I scored.
Pontius with the extra point. It's on the way, and he missed it. Something to talk about in the film room. 51.
Now, which one of these guys scored the touchdown?
Would never. 51-0. We'll be back in the GSC. Well, North Alabama gets a score from the defensive side as Jones gets the fumble recovery and takes it in for the Lions to make it a 51-0 game. And
Jones is the very large young man in the back with the grin from ear to ear, walking up and down the sideline.
Yep.
There's nothing like winning.
Kickoff taken at the 4-yard line, and Cerrado gets the return out to about the 23 before he's bumped out of bounds.
Back with Jonathan Redd, the senior quarterback. Now the Choctaws would love to get something on the board.
Well, they had a field goal opportunity that was missed on a previous possession. Here's Ingram, who's had some pretty good runs here in the third quarter and picks up a good one there. As he picks up about 7 yards on the play. Pretty close to it.
Good, hard, tough running.
Yep. And, you know, one of the things, too, is we've talked about the future. John Bland, just to give you an idea why we've talked about what a great hire this is. At the University of the Cumberlands in Williamsburg, Kentucky, this team was not only 13-1 last year, that team was the NAIA national runner-up. Here's Ingram trying to get away again. This time he's going to lose some yardage. But, Rick, they were gaudy numbers. They led the NAIA in rushing offense for the season, per game, and in scoring. Big numbers.
They were the dominating.
Big numbers.
355 rushing. You know, we talked about that a little bit at the top of the show that these guys know how to move the ball. They just, you got to have time to put a system in place. And one preseason in your first year is not enough time to do it. It just takes time.
Yes, it does. A hard hit on Jonathan Redd this time. Good job by Xavier Triplett, the young man we talked about, the senior transfer from Delta State.
Delta State was the GSC Freshman of the Year, his freshman year, and an all-conference player, and figures big in their plans this year. And hopefully Xavier's found a home and can finish his career out in style.
And his old team, his former team, I should say, is one of those teams that they'll be faced and challenged against. And looks like we must have an official timeout on the field, an injury timeout.
Yes, DeAndre Harrison,
yeah.
Nose guard, 5'11", 265, sophomore.
From Lithonia, Georgia, south of Atlanta.
Yeah, in this day of transfers, it's always kind of interesting. You know, when I know that Brandon Lucas, who also played at Delta State, is now one of the top running backs at West Georgia.
And a little early, it looks like.
Yeah, that's been the biggest problem this defense has had for the most part. And
that was Quad Freeman, number 33.
Offside. Defense. Number 33 with contact. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So that gives the Choctaws the first down via penalty. And here goes Ingram again. I think he lost the ball. But I think, we'll have to wait to the end pile. Don't want to think.
According to Jonathan Redd, that he got it back, but the white shirts seemed to disagree. Ball came loose, and if body language tells you, it looks like it's going to be North Alabama's ball, and it is.
They do pick it up at the 40-yard line.
You know, there's an inherent worry here for coaches. You know, coaches, we're going to find something to worry about all the time.
Oh, never.
But, this game has been relatively easy for North Alabama. And next week they run right smack dab into Valdosta, Georgia, on the road.
Right.
I believe it's on the road, if I've got it right. I may need to check that to be sure. But wherever it is, it's going to be a knockdown drag-out, and the speed of the game and the tempo will be certainly different than this. And, sometimes that makes it a little tougher when you've had a game like this to get ready for that kind of football game.
And Jacob Tucker, and a quarterback, rolls out. Now he's going to keep it. And he's still on his feet, and he picks up the first down. Well, it's pretty obvious we've seen the last of Luke Wingo tonight. There's
I don't think we'll see him again tonight.
Yeah. This guy's done a good job too, though.
Well, this is the zone read. Had a little pass option on it, but he was going to keep it all the way, trying to keep that ball high and tight like you're taught. And nice run for a first down.
And there was Mr. Weddle again making the tackle. This ball was tipped in the air and nearly intercepted. Was intended for number 14. That was Dukes. And nearly intercepted. That was Dylan Gilbert, number 10. Watch here.
Yeah, that ball is tipped. Again, nice job getting the hands up at the line of scrimmage by Brandon Schaefer.
Now it's 2nd down and 10. Here's a pass to one of those big receivers we were talking about. That one is number 18, Willie Bland, a tight end.
Yeah, big 6'7" tight end. You know, that's just that little scat concept. One guy goes deep, one guy goes in, one guy goes out, and very well executed by North Alabama at this point.
Well, how'd you like to have a 6'7" target to throw to? Taj Kimball, who in his first game as a Lion after transferring from Boston College. Let's get out a lot of good play tonight. Stop made by Reggie Bennett, the free safety. And UNA comes up to the line quickly. Now they're going to check with me on the sideline on a 2nd down and 3.
Speeding the tempo up again a little bit. Not getting too in-depth with their offense, but still checking their plays, running their scheme.
And that includes going to Kimball. Kimball breaks a tackle or two and takes it down to the 4-yard line. So it's going to bring up a 1st and goal situation for the Lions of UNA.
Well, it's just another version of the power play. You know, you block down at the point of attack, someone kicks out, and you pull a guard around to lead through, and very well executed again. That play's given Mississippi College trouble all night, and it certainly did on that play right there for the 1st down, which sets up this 1st and goal.
Yep. I think we're going to see UNA let the clock run down. That'll take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. As a little bit of a teeny-weeny smile from Coach Wallace.
I think that was more of a grimace.
Yes, it was. 51-0, North Alabama at the end of the 3rd quarter. 4th quarter coming up next from the GSC. Begin the 4th quarter, and North Alabama knocking on the door again, leading at 51-0 against Mississippi College. They try a little razzle-dazzle as they bring number 80. That's Jared Smith, junior out of Jackson, Mississippi. Just went through Jackson, of course, to get here at Clinton. And the one thing I didn't mention, of course, I think most people know Bobby Wallace. He grew up in Arkansas, but his high school career and, of course, college career playing and
spent
coaching.
A little time in this state.
He sure did.
Yeah.
Got a lot of friends and family from this area.
Well, Mississippi is a great football state.
Isn't it?
I always thought the talent in the state was as good as really anywhere in the country. Obviously, there's not as many people in this state as there are in some places.
Here goes Kimball trying to fight his way and got it to maybe inside the 3. But you're right, Rick, and particularly, I mean, I know this is like my 42nd year of calling games, and as far as I can remember back, at every level I can always remember not just players from Mississippi, but particularly good junior college players from Mississippi.
Yeah, and of course, the Junior College League is among the very best in the country.
And that is Diamond Simmons taking it in for the touchdown.
And a nice drive by UNA for their 7th score of the night. Just the read zone.
Yep.
Good blocking up front and nothing fancy.
Jordan Jones had a chance to make the stop prior to the goal line, but a lot of people miss these backs. You better grab them and bring them down immediately. And the extra point is on the way, and it's good.
I think I said 7th score. That would be their 8th one.
So Simmons, the junior out of Hanceville, Alabama, gets the touchdown. And North Alabama leads it 58-zip. Back to Clinton, Mississippi in a moment.
I need my space. I need my space to call my own. Space for galaxies of fun. Space for splashing in the sun.
Find your space on Florida's Space Coast. Home to Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, 72 miles of Atlantic Ocean beaches, and Florida Tech football. Florida Space Coast, your space for fun.
We are Mississippi's oldest university and the first co-educational university in the country to grant a degree to women. We offer more than 80 undergraduate fields of study and 50 graduate concentrations. Our adult and online programs provide the flexibility to take courses on your schedule. We are your first step towards a brighter future. We are Mississippi College.
Being an athlete, you have to have a really strong mind.
Then I realized I got to get to work and I want to be successful someday. So
Just become, that person that you want to be because you've worked so hard, knowing what to get done when to get up extra shots, when to read a little deeper into your chapter.
And show my team that I'm here to lead them.
Hard work that's put into it, all the dreaming about it, and it finally becomes reality is pretty special.
What is it about UWA? Is it the beauty of her campus? The feeling of being just the right size? World class, without classes big enough for the world? Is it the warmth of her people? They say there's something about this place. Maybe it's because this place feels like home. On campus or online, the University of West Alabama.
58-0 North Alabama, and Coach Bobby Wallace, ranked number 5
There's a
in the.
smile.
Yep, there it is. Diamond Simmons gets the 3-yard touchdown run.
Nice methodical drive, and I think overall he's got to be very pleased that it was a very impressive performance, as it should have been on paper.
You do this one.
This kickoff is presented by Florida Space Coast. And,
very good.
There's a lot of stuff happening down there, I can tell you.
There you go.
I've been to the Space Coast. I spent 3.5 weeks with the XFL Birmingham Thunderbolts down there.
Oh, there you go.
I can tell you exactly where the hotel and the practice field is, and that's all I saw. We were talking about high school football. I should mention the state immediately to the east of Mississippi, Alabama, has some pretty good high school football as well.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
And there's an all-star game between Alabama and Mississippi every year, and
I
think Alabama has had the better of it. But it's a real showcase for the great players in both of these football-crazy states, as we saw young Kyle Smith coming back into the fray.
Pitch. And a nice run.
Very good looking, well executed option
James
play.
Banks, huh? Yeah.
All three phases.
You can explain it.
Well, you know, he rides the fullback. They take the dive. They take the quarterback. The ball's pitched. Nice block on the edge. Good block downfield. That's the way you draw it up. And I think that's the best play of the night for the Choctaws. It's a very well executed play.
Good looking sophomore transfer from Louisiana Tech. 5'8", 185. Kyle Smith, as Coach Rhodes mentioned, is the signal caller. This is Therian Robinson again, trying his best to get wide, and lost maybe about a yard on the play.
Yeah, the backup A-back, not the biggest fullback I've seen, but got some quicks, just know where to go on that one right there.
It was a loss of 1, so now it's 2nd down and 11. As we promised in the fourth quarter, we'll go through some other GSC games. I will tease it by saying the GSC is off to an 11-1 start in non-conference this season, which I guess is not a surprise, but it's very good. Here's Cerrado coming to the near side, and he picks up yardage to about the 42.
Well, you know, there are some surprises. That first score on there is pretty surprising.
And that involves Shorter and Mars Hill.
Shorter making a move in their third year in the league.
Yep.
Started out very similar to this.
Very, very similar.
You know, came up from a lower division, had to work their way through it. Looks like they're making some real progress.
Well, and I think what excites the folks here, a little reverse action. Looks like North Alabama stayed home. They did. We'll go through some of the scores in the GSC. That's the first one you were talking about there, Coach.
You know, Shorter 2-0 and had 5 interceptions. 3 by Jordan Shaw, ran one back 100 yards for a touchdown. It's a huge win for them. Florida Tech continues to impress. We're anxious to see their young quarterback. West Georgia off to a great start in their new head coach. Valdosta State defeats number 12 Winston-Salem in a preview of a huge matchup next week against Delta State. West Alabama goes to 2-0 under their new coach, Brett Gilliland. They had 9 sacks in that game. And who did I leave out? Did I get everybody?
I think so.
I did.
Yep. Here's the punt and
Driving
a dandy.
spiral.
Yep. It's fielded by Jared Smith. And he's knocked down at the 33-yard line. Flag on the play.
Well, everybody on the field that could throw a flag threw one. So whatever it was pretty obvious.
And some of the particulars, some little footnotes we might add too. In that Shorter win, they moved to 2-0. 5 interceptions, including 3 by Jordan Shaw, one of which went 100 yards for a touchdown. Little things to talk about in the Valdosta State win as well.
Cedric O'Neal, one of the great running. You know, there's so many good running backs in this league. O'Neal's a great one. And you know, O'Neal with 2 TDs tonight. Florida Tech had a nice crowd at their home opener. 96 points in 2 games. As I said, I'm anxious to see that freshman quarterback.
Yep, and over 4,000 for their opener. And West Alabama, of course, the coaching changed, but the beat goes on.
You know, West Georgia, the first shutout since October 8th, 2005. Zach Foray had 5 sacks, so there's definitely some interesting guys to see as we see what this penalty was.
During the return, holding number 19 on the return team. That penalty is declined. We also have blocking the bag, number 35 on the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
58-0, Bobby Wallace. Well, we're not seeing his face, but we saw a little grin earlier. He's happy because it's 58-0. We'll be back.
Gulf South Conference is focused on the student athlete and supporting its 12-member institutions by competing for regional and national championships, graduating student athletes at the highest rate, and impacting its community in a meaningful way. Headquartered in Birmingham, the GSC features a dynamic blend of public and private institutions. Its members and student athletes represent the very best in the NCAA. Compete, graduate, impact. The Gulf South Conference.
I'd heard that UWG is a land of opportunity. And it's true. Going west means making the most of endless possibilities.
Make your mark. The University of West Georgia. Go West.
The Gulf South Conference is focused on the student athlete and supporting its 12-member institutions by competing for regional and national championships, graduating student athletes at the highest rate, and impacting its community in a meaningful way. Headquartered in Birmingham, the GSC features a dynamic blend of public and private institutions. Its members and student athletes represent the very best in the NCAA. Compete, graduate, impact. The Gulf South Conference.
GSC TV on ESPN3 is brought to you all season by Florida Space Coast, Cocoa Beach area, Orlando's closest beaches, and the Gulf South Conference. Compete, impact, graduate, and presented locally by Watson Quality Ford.
I wonder what kind of deal Watson Ford would give me on a 97 Nissan pickup.
I want that little Cowboys mustache.
You already got one.
Well, but wasn't trimmed properly.
Nice.
Don Russell. Look at that. I want that mustache. See,
you know,
look, I'm
Don,
jealous.
I got to admit.
You can have the hat.
I think you need the hat, too, but that mustache is you.
You know, and he's in their commercials, too. Just sneaks right in there.
You got to get those eyebrows to go along with it.
Oh, I know. That's good.
Nice swarm of defense by the Choctaws, by the way. On
It
that
was,
last little,
really
little
was.
screenplay out there.
And a special thanks to Watson Quality Ford for being a presenting sponsor locally. And they're on board with the program here at Mississippi College. And that's why it will be successful with sponsors like them involved. Well, here's a guy that's certainly gotten, I'm sure, a lot more carries tonight. Taj Kimball, that we had a chance to talk with the staff before, that they were excited to have from Boston College. But it's probably good he's getting some play, too, because he's going to be a key figure.
Yeah, I think he will for sure. And as we said earlier, that bigger back is so important because their first two are great backs, but they're not big, and they're gonna take some pounding now. You got to have that big presence to take some of that load.
And again, we have Jacob Thomas in there, one of the other Jacobs involved in the game. I thought they might cut his hair at halftime.
Well, I'm really pretty disappointed that they didn't. But
see, I think he's hiding it. He's got it down.
He's got kind of tucked in there. You know, I remember seeing him play when he was in high school, and he really was a really fine high school quarterback. Not very big,
right?
Not the biggest guy in the world, but in this offense, that's not very important. And besides, you measure football players inside out. That was an errant snap that he tried to one hand.
Yep.
I bet you that's a young center in there trying to get a little work.
Number 35 fell on the ball. That's Hayden Henderson.
That one was way outside.
Ball two. There's a look at the, I guess you call him a little, so he has a little edge to him.
He does. Well, you know, at 5'8", 176, you don't get to where he is if you don't have a little edge.
That's right, yeah. And a little draw play on the part of the youngster we're talking about, and he picks up maybe about 5 of the yards that they lost on the previous snap.
I was looking at those scores and some of the particulars with these things. I mean, boy, there are a lot of scenarios and soap operas to be set up. The next 2 weeks will certainly tell us a lot. And Valdosta State and Delta State this early in the season, wow, that's going to be some kind of shootout.
Caleb Coleman, by the way, made that stop for Mississippi College. Here's a throw, tipped around a couple of times and falls incomplete.
You know,
covering was Coleman on the play.
Yeah, you know, talking about the games coming up now. Valdosta State, how do you like this to have a nice, easy part of your schedule? They play Winston-Salem State, who's ranked 12th in the nation. Then they got Delta State, and then they got Valdosta. How's that for a little trifecta right there?
Yeah, that'll keep you busy in the film room, won't it?
Well, you know, that's to me, that this league is kind of getting back to the way it used to be.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things you're worried about is that, I mean, the cumulative effect of so many tough games back to back to back to back. I always thought it kind of hurt us a little bit in
I bet
in national playoff stuff. And you know, and really it was even a little bit that way last year.
Right.
You know, we only had one team in the playoffs, and I thought arguably we had at least two others that were certainly good enough.
Yeah.
Gibson with the fair catch for the Choctaws.
But North Alabama's had its way all time tonight, 58-0. More in the fourth quarter of the Gulf South Conference in just a second. $58-0 our score. North Alabama leading Mississippi College. I'm sorry, got a little distracted. I was watching the Red Hat down there, who, if you don't know who that is, go to a football game one time, and they normally wear a red hat. They are our timeout coordinators. And we were ready to go, and he wasn't. So just a little sidebar to the things we experience up here.
It was a rare first down pass by Mississippi College. Nothing there, and Kyle Smith pulled it down, tried to get what he could, but very marginal gain.
So it is going to be very interesting throughout the league this year. And as we mentioned, of course, Shorter has been working their way through the process, i.e. Mississippi College is, in terms of when you become eligible for conference championships.
I think that's as many games as Shorter won last year.
I think you're right, yep. Here's a swing pass completed to Cerrado. Adrian's touched the ball quite a bit tonight, but really the success they had is when they had Ingram in the game. They had a great drive to start the third quarter and weren't able to get it in the end zone. Actually had a missed field goal as well. But as small as that might seem, that shows that Coach Bland is reaching his players.
Right. And Ingram is out of the game now. I haven't really looked at the sideline. You know, UNA crashes both defensive ends and just really know where to go on the read. He's pretty well gobbled that up.
How tough is it, Coach, when you go to this type of offense in terms of your offensive line?
Well, you know, you got to have different kind of offensive lines.
That's what I thought.
I mean, you got to have a great center. You got to have two offensive guards that, in coaching terminology, are war daddies. I mean, big, strong guys that can control that middle and get a push where you can always get that fullback up in the crease, which is the area right off the outside hip of the, offensive guard. And if you can't do that, you're going to have a hard time.
So it does take actually adjustments and really the things you're recruiting, correct?
Yeah, your tackles were always, when I was in this offense, they were always smaller guys that were pretty athletic. They weren't particularly big. Sometimes they were blocky, and the height wasn't very important. Your guards, we wanted massive guys. And because if you can't establish your offense inside out, you're going to have a hard time.
Well, we already, of course, almost to the end of our first game for 2014 tonight, and GSC TV on ESPN3 next week. We've been talking about it quite a bit. Delta State at Valdosta State. Folks, it's always a classic. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on ESPN3, ESPN3.com. Of course, presented by Florida Space Coast. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be a head knocker like it always is. Delta State has two outstanding quarterbacks. Little swing route right there, very nicely thrown ball.
There you go. Nice completion. And looks like the spot's going to be just a little bit shy of the first down.
And that'll turn the ball over. Well, a rough night for Mississippi College. I know they wanted to make more of a game of it, but as we've said repeatedly, there are lots of positives in this, and been impressed with the potential that I see here.
And the environment.
Yeah.
And the way everybody embraced what was happening here, having the understanding of the process.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody we've talked to, and, of course, you have a lot of more blood and sweat and tears over the years in terms of coaching when Mississippi College was in the GSC for all those many years. But when we say we welcome them back to the person, we're glad to be back.
Yeah, no, there's no question about that. And the program went to Division III under circumstances that weren't ideal,
right.
And they were very competitive at that level. But
57, 15-yard penalty.
I know Coach Wallace doesn't want to see that late in the game, and he doesn't want anybody to lose their composure. But the fact that they have put a plan together to come back to where I think is their rightful level. That's just my opinion. Not that my opinion matters.
No,
but
I think you got a lot of people agree with it.
I think this is where they belong, and I think that I think this league is becoming a great league again. We almost lost this league, and through the hard work of a lot of people, Commissioner Salant,
sure,
Commissioner Wilson now is, taking over and continuing to put this thing together.
Well, we talk about Mississippi College. This is what they have coming up is a part of that process. And, again, progress is important.
It is, but it's going to be tough. Lamar's a Division I program, shorter, off to the best start they've had. Faith University, frankly, I don't know very much about, but I know a lot about those next three.
Yeah.
And that's going to be three very tough games. So it's going to be really a trial by fire for them this year. And, you want to keep your team together and try to win as many games as you can, but you want to lay a foundation. And you got to remember too, now that they're dealing with 17 scholarships this year. Now, it would be like Alabama or Mississippi playing with 42 scholarships.
Right.
And it's just
not an even playing field.
No, it's just a tough deal. But I was talking about the league just for a little bit, but I think this league is on its way to getting back where it was. When it first reached its zenith, which, there were 6 or 7 teams that were really, really good football teams. and you saw great players every Saturday, and every game was hotly contested, and it was just tremendous to be a part of it.
And let's look at what UNA, we have talked about them, and here's what they have now. And, of course, a great start after a patient beginning.
Yeah, Langston should be, somebody they should handle. Valdosta State, of course, that will be, a very difficult contest. But, they get them right after the Delta State game, so that sets up well for them. Western Oregon is a team that is a little better than average in the league they are in out west. UNC Pembroke we know about. We saw them last year. And then Florida Tech and West Georgia will be very good teams, I think.
That's what takes us through October. And once again, see number 13, that is Jacob Thomas in at quarterback. We saw him in the first half.
I wonder how many teams in America have two quarterbacks named Jacob on them. How about looking that up for next week, okay?
Yeah. I'll work on that, get the research department to work on that. But I know where there's two of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're in Florence, Alabama.
Well, that nice job by the Mississippi College defense to stop. Brings up a 4th and about 6.
Came after the punt. And this one was fielded in traffic. You're going to see a flag.
That might be fair catch interference.
Yeah, I
Normally,
think so. That was Jamie Harris who made the catch despite that distraction. So, as expected, I would think this would be marked off from the fair catch. Well, there's plenty of things for Coach Wallace and his staff to look at, too.
Yeah,
these are little things, but they can really cost you.
Yeah, and that's one right there that will, in this game you think, oh, well. But, I've seen similar things like that happen in very, very close games that sometimes will absolutely turn the tide. And I guarantee you that's being coached right now. But in the film room, that will be taken care of. Those little things, if they're left unattended, will come back and bite you in the tail.
Yeah,
every
they will.
time. And I'm not telling Coach Walls anything he doesn't already know. Another good option play.
Yep. And that, once again, that's James Banks.
Yeah, it'll be a tough assignment for Mississippi College to go play Lamar next week. That's pretty tough on the heels of this, but they're back in it, and they're going to take their lumps as they grow, and better days will come.
Oh, boy, Smith really got decked when he made that pitch. And a great run. This time again it's Banks, but on the other side of the field, Xavier Triplett finally knocked him out of bounds. Watch the hit. Oh, wow.
That's called taking the quarterback.
Yes, it does.
Real nice blocking on the edge. Now, I couldn't see who the arc blocker was, but that's the way you draw it up, and they've gotten on the edge on the option play pretty well.
Whoa.
And
boy, that was a vicious hit.
No, it sure was. And young
of course,
Mr.
you run that.
Oh, yeah. And young Mr. Smith is getting his oil checked right now.
Yeah,
and
he is.
But that's all part of the process.
Yep.
You learn to give with those as you get a little bit older, and of course, now that's really the first time that the fullback has hit that crease.
Robinson.
And I tell you what, now that Kyle Smith showed me something right there. He just got hit. He just got hit right in the chops, and you can see that's a nice read right there. You see the crease set up, fullback in there, and a really nice read by Smith about 10 seconds after getting clocked right in the face. And that's a little moxie there that will pay dividends down the road.
Well, those are the kind of plays and effort you see that, everybody tunes in and says, oh, man, what a blowout. But when you know what's happening here in the long-range goals, those are things, as the coach said, That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and you know, again, I think the thing that's impressive here is they're still playing hard.
Yep.
They're still playing hard, and he's still coaching
Yep.
hard right here, and that's and you know that's not easy to do now. You know, we all have pride as coaches. We all want to do well every time out, and you know it's 58-0. I mean, you know, it's not a pleasant night, but he's still coaching hard, still coaching his team, still leading his team, and that's exactly what you want to do. And
well, and one of the things I've always told people, I said, you know, just from my very meek perimeter as a kicker watching football, is coaches are some of the greatest teachers you'll ever see, because teaching is more than just giving information.
Yeah, no,
feedback.
There's no question at all.
Yeah.
Now, you know, just like, you know, the last player right there, this is going to be a great film for him to study, because what he did right there is he made a back foot read. You know, he decided to give the ball to the fullback before that ball had transferred all the way to his front foot to where he can make a complete read, and he'll see that in film, and that's going to make him better. I thought I'd do a little wishbone clinic while we were here, partner. I hope that was all right.
No, that's what I'm saying. People don't.
Yeah, and you know, these are all things, you know, to learn and to see. And
I mean, I would say based on percentages, there's a good tackle from behind on Banks.
Now, see, that's a nice job right there. He came off that thing, saw the hard end, which is the dive key and the pitch key both come in at him. He disconnected, got the ball pitched out very well. Didn't get the block on the edge, or it would have been a big play.
And number 8, Kylie Jackson, you see, made the stop on the play.
This is all very valuable for work. You know, in a lot of ways, this is Mississippi College's spring practice.
Sure it is.
And kind of a tough spring practice,
Right,
I understand.
right.
But
you're not used to having folks watch you like this.
And, you know, playing against one of the, you know, arguably 5 or 6 best
Right.
teams in the country. But, you know, you dance with who brung you.
Yep. And here's Smith on the keeper. Just nowhere to go.
Yeah, well, he's going to learn that second cut right there is not going to get it done for you, and may not have gotten the first down anyway. But he'll learn that cut you just don't make against a good college football team.
And we're running down to the final 18 seconds. Well, they stop the clock.
Yeah, ball turns over, and this one will go into the books. And well, it was good to be here.
Yeah.
I think this was historical.
I was glad to be here.
Oh,
I mean, you know, we're going to look back on this night in a few years and say, you remember when?
Yep. And it'll be fun to see how this North Alabama team does.
Oh, yeah. I tell you this, I know there's a great balance, but this may be a UNA team.
It's going to take a good football team to beat them.
Yeah, it is. That'll be the final play of the game as teams will congratulate each other. And, you know, this meeting now between Bobby Wallace and John Bland might be one-sided tonight, but I can bet you that they all know that in the days to come and years to come, it's going to be a totally different story.
Well, I don't think anybody was too surprised by this. I think everybody thought that this was a possibility.
58-0 is our final score, and Coach, just once again a pleasure to be with you, and going to have a great year indeed.
Good to get started again, partner.
For Rick Rhodes, I'm Don Russell saying so long from Clinton, Mississippi. The final score, 58-0.